Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States. And we are...
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Monday afternoon. It looks like shit's about to pop off, so we're going to forget about that tonight, and we're going to go over this trial and, kick back, have some fun, have some laughs, and enjoy each other's company. I am once again joined by the co-host with the most, Dog Mama. Good to have you back.
Co-host with the mostest?
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm super tired.
It's
I'm
okay.
Exhausted.
It's okay. Like this is going to be the shit show.
Okay.
We still have 30 minutes, a minute left, and 30 left before we can hear the stream, Mighty. No, you can hear the stream right now, Bobby. So this is going to be a complete hellfire shit show. There's all kinds of internet issues going on, shit's popping off everywhere. I have had a day. Dog Mama's tired. Apparently the Texas Rangers are in the World Series or some shit. Deez was saying, I don't know. I just work here sometimes. So, let's say hello to everybody and we'll get right into it. Dog Mama. Hello, hello. Jason
Hello.
J. Hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Well, we were going to start early.
Yeah.
And then everything went to shit. And then I checked Down Detector, and it's fucking everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have like 5 people watching all day because everything is down. All the telecom providers, all the cell phone providers, fucking Roblox was down, Discord's down, like everything is down. Something's going on. But YouTube told me this weekend. YouTube told me this, and I trust everything that YouTube says, and I want to atone for my sins.
Your Sims?
Shit.
You should atone for those too.
See, that's what I'm talking about. This is what this, shit, do I not even have it anymore? Oh, I should have this.
Yeah, but go ahead and atone for your Sims.
I will atone for my Sims, and YouTube, this is what YouTube says
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
That's what they said. Thank you, YouTube, for the strike. It made me stronger, bitch. So, Ghostry, what's up? Baldering, Balder number,
Yep.
Oh, tablets are the worst, bro, but they're a necessary evil. Hey, Light Rain. Oh, Mike, how you doing, sir? It has? Okay. Yeah. We were looking through it, and there's significant outages on most major platforms right now. So, yeah, YouTube is so broken. So, but yeah, we're gonna get right into Mathew here. Unless you had something. We did. There was one thing, and then I'll let you talk. Sorry, I just gave you the floor and took it away. So I found our next trial. I'm not going to tell anybody. Well, I'll tell every single person in here if you can guarantee that Deez is not, and you don't tell JSDs because
yeah, he'll ruin it for everyone.
He'll ruin it for everyone. You can't tell Deez. Plus, it will bother him that he's the only one that doesn't know what the next one is. So if we can confirm Deez is not here, actually, shit, that's too much work. I was gonna try and add him, but then he might be. Yeah, that can't take that risk, y'all. We'll wait until he's gone one day.
Nope, he's
He
not
did a
in.
Deez and he didn't pop up. Hell yeah! So it's this Terry guy, and he allegedly killed his son and 2 neighborhood children, and then he wrote a book about it, and it was around the Halloween time, so it'd be great. But it looks uber interesting, and I just passed it on to Dog Mama, see what she thought of it. But I watched the interrogation today, and it was nuts.
Yeah,
So,
I've watched documentaries about it before, so
it looks crazy.
it's got a name for it too.
Yeah, I didn't want to get nuked yet. I just need to know what not to tell him, so I can tell him something. So it was originally in 1993, but it's recently been prosecuted, so it went cold for a while.
A long
Recently,
time.
yeah, recently. I don't know how recently, but I know it happened in 1993. Went cold. He wrote the book, and the investigators were like, "Oh shit!" So
Just
it
not legal
looks fun.
advice. Just
Right.
don't write a book about your crimes.
Right, unless you're OJ and you got acquitted.
Right.
Great book, by the way. You can guarantee that he did it by reading his book. OJ wasn't innocent. Anyways, so I'm gonna re-give you the floor if you wanna share
let's get
anything with
into it.
anybody. Oh, right.
Yeah, no, it's been a crazy family visit with the in-laws, so tired, ready to go to bed.
All right, so fuck chat. Let's get into it.
It's good to be back, chat.
You may continue your examination.
Thank you. Just to kind of reset here. So we've been looking at a portion of your interview with the defendant.
Yes, sir.
And what day did that occur?
Wednesday, May 27th.
So we're picking up and continuing his
in the
interrogation.
room,
Ironically,
people, can you tell the jury again who those 3 people are?
It is myself,
Okay.
Matheau Moore, and Detective
so we went to
Grisly.
lunch.
Okay, we're gonna
Last week
resume,
we saw
portion of the interview
the morning
where,
portion.
Detective PGS
Was part of the
ranks on a scale
interrogation.
1 to 10 of his relationship with his wife. Do you recall that?
And now we're going to
Yes,
pick
sir.
up the second half of it after lunch.
We haven't covered that yet.
Okay.
We're gonna
Okay.
start there.
Okay.
I got this time. I've labeled this portion of the interview stays with 7.
Do you feel better now, Bobby?
Yeah, do you? You've been waiting to boo me, like, for a long time.
10 being bliss, everyday honeymoon like a honeymoon, and 1 being can't.
Let's just so we can provide context, because I probably should have. He is here still voluntarily. He is not under arrest. Don't talk to the police. Police are asshole. He is still voluntarily speaking to the police.
Not
He has been
legal advice.
Mirandized. But yeah, he doesn't have to be here. He could walk out the door. So
Can't stand each other. I'm just asking, what would you rate?
It would fluctuate like a sine wave, but we were on since 6 months. It was an 8.
Classic month?
Absolutely. Did you realize that?
Well, we have months for everything. There's a
There might be some old text where we were like, but it was after my son died. There was tension, stress. She dealt with it differently than I did, and so there was things that were said back and forth. But this whole Corona thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
We became really super. She's like, and we kind of we need each other. Let's do this thing, guys. I did not hurt you.
Bobby, I know you have feelings.
I loved her. I don't know. I would speculate.
After the defendant was talking about Corona, what did he say about Emily?
He told us that he loved his wife and said it in the past tense.
So not love, but loved. I
Loved.
loved my wife.
oh, fuck off.
Oh my gosh, really?
She might have hurt herself. If she did, you would have found her. But she would have went down somewhere close. Was there?
Bobby, the first one's free, but then you have to pay. This is for you. It's a raining of booze for Dog Mama. You're welcome.
It is. Thank you.
Times when she would come and say, I'm not afraid to die. This is, I mean, don't they all kind of be like that? Sort of. Nothing that I would ever call anybody. Go, my wife's going to hurt herself.
So why would you think she would hurt herself? I mean,
It was not the wrong boo.
Because
We
she
both
was-
know what you're talking
not
about.
that She ever would. I'm just saying she was emotional. She would get emotional. She was a very emotional person. And she would say things like, and then when Joseph died, it was like this thing where she would be like, well,
Well, if you send me a boo and a dick pic, I'll post your boo
so,
instead.
Like I said, we're not-
I was like, what the fuck happened? But it is the video.
Second, you want to continue after that?
They have VLC Media Player from
Oh.
Western Marches
Oh.
74C to the jury.
1992.
Come on, man.
Would it surprise you if I said that she didn't seem to be as happy as you were led to believe? Of course. Would it surprise you?
Deez is here. Quit talking about him.
I know.
Shh.
As far as your relationship.
No, she loved me. I would be very surprised if there was like a. No.
Just act like Deez isn't here, guys.
Talking about Emily's feelings towards him.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
And
Where's
what did he
Deez?
say?
I haven't seen
He said
him.
no, she loved me. Again, past tense.
Loved, not loved.
Again,
Correct.
really? Come on.
No, well, I'm not saying that, but literally 2 weeks ago, there was one person that she kind of confided in through text messages and so forth.
Said something that.
And she said that Matt picked another fight with me last night. This was 2 weeks ago. And then they kind of want to talk about it a little bit. Early May, we're talking this month. Matt and I are talking in front of you, but it's not the kind of relationship I want. In April, a month ago, please don't talk about Matt and I in love. She said, same day, he has been the same since Joe, which I understand. That's not a criticism. I completely get that. Certainly she
No, I think he had been.
And at the same time, she said, I think Matt is mentally ill. And then the same day, we aren't talking. Reference your relationship, we're not talking. This was a month ago, she said, we're not talking. And she said, I don't want to talk about him, I'd rather focus on the future. By the way, Matt got really drunk last night, this was February. By the way, Matt got really drunk last night, said some things I don't think he can take back. I'm fine, I'm pretty sure we are not going to stay together. What do you think?
I mean, we would argue about things, but I didn't think that it was that.
What was it that you said?
Well, most couples argue.
One thing, yeah.
I would think so.
Matt picked the fight against April. This is barely a month
She
ago.
would accuse me of picking fights.
Okay, but this was a month ago. Okay, this is heavy. Matt picked the fight with me yesterday and said some awful things. I'm not wearing my wedding ring. And that doesn't sound like somebody who's in a happy relationship.
It
I
is.
thought my wife texted that to somebody a month ago.
I get it. I'm not going to say that those things. Of course, there was a roller coaster relationship, but it wasn't like anything that you would think that someone would hurt someone for. It just would.
I'm just addressing the fact that you just told me the last 6 months have been bliss and it ain't.
Not yes.
Okay.
There have been levels of that,
Okay.
and you can check the other texts, and they are super. I love you. I'm going to say
I saw
there
it.
are.
It's very much up and down. Bipolar relationship.
That would go away. That would really go away. It would last for a night.
Will you acknowledge that that's some pretty heavy shit when your wife said, I took up my wedding ring, I don't think we're going to stay together.
It's not as heavy as you think it is.
You don't think that?
You might think it is, but it's not. She would be like that at times because of her anger issues. It always swung back. We were always, it just wasn't.
Well, why would you have said that whenever they asked how your relationship? I mean,
I didn't even remember that because it's not in my mindset. The good times have been so good.
Okay, but you know,
You guys are really going to try to.
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm reading your wife's words.
That's
I understand that. I understand that. Just let me. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying when you come in and say we had a great relationship, told Officer Hollis, we had a great marriage, no problems whatsoever, and then I read this, it's going back 6 months, and you text her on New Year's Eve and say if you want a divorce and we're going to move out, fine. I mean, these are all things I just printed off, which have they aren't the usual fight. Like I'm pissed at you, fuck off, I don't want to talk to you tonight, just leave me alone. It's go golfing because I don't want to see you right now, I want to be alone. That's,
Well,
It's
not as heavy as you think it is. From out looking at it from the outside, I can see why someone would think that, but it's not. It's just the level of anger from. I'm not gonna say it's her fault. I have my issues with my son. I would get angry too. We would fall back in love the next day. It was just the thing that we would do. And it wasn't, and when you say, hey, how was the last 6 months? The last 6 months have been really nice, man. I mean, was there a time that we had a night where I said some bad things and she took the wedding ring off? How long ago was that? I mean,
A month.
it happened, but I mean, I'm not gonna, I don't know how to explain to you.
Do you remember that happening though?
I remember her, I think, taking her wedding ring off, but didn't last. But this thing's been on forever.
When was the last?
So they were having a rough time.
Screaming match?
There was never a
Yeah.
match. It was more of just.
I mean, it
was
happens.
When was the last argument / loud
I
conversation?
couldn't tell you. I was guessing.
Because your neighbors are out there saying it was in the last 2 weeks. Would that be correct?
I don't know. And they're
Nosy-ass neighbor.
We were screaming at each other.
Oh, the neighbor was terrible.
Yeah.
The old guy.
Mm-hmm.
There might have been a loud, whatever.
Loud disagreement?
We weren't violent, we weren't screaming like at each other, like throwing things around. It just wasn't happening. It's not the type of relationship we had. We would get mad at each other because we had issues, but they weren't even close to being like. She was saying that to her friend. I mean, that's surprising to me because I wasn't like, I mean, at times you'd say, I don't want to be married to anymore. But it doesn't go down the lines that I'm sitting in a police station right now, being like you're going after me.
We just have to make sure we know that you
Trust me, as a man to man, that what was going on there was nothing there was nothing to be worried about. There wasn't anything.
Yep.
So, can I change course now? So, it was Officer Hollis, I keep wanting to think it's Serena, but it was Officer Hollis came out on Monday to take her report, correct? Now, and, her phone wasn't seized or anything else like that. Were you posting stuff on Facebook from her account using her phone?
Fuck off, Bobby.
I don't know. I knew her passcode. It was my son's old phone. I could have went on there and posted something.
You can go elsewhere, D's, bitch.
So I think I was maybe making contact. I'm guessing that I was making some sort of contacts with friends of hers, using when I was looking for her.
Like after she was reported missing? And
I'm sure I did use her phone to contact friends of hers.
did you post something to her Facebook account, to her friend on Facebook, like, hey, she's missing?
I didn't until later on when it was told to me that it was as serious as it was. It wasn't like, it was after the guy showed up.
Oh my god, he didn't post to Facebook, so he's the worst guy ever?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Matt,
Guilty.
2 days ago.
I know.
You can't remember if you
Which
were
phone I
on her
used?
phone. Did you go on her, did you think to yourself, and this would make perfect sense, to say, look, I don't know her friends, which we know. So I'm going to get on it, you made the comment, I would like to post them to her account, that's why you wanted her phone back. So it's been through your mind, it would make perfect sense. I'm going to go on her Facebook account and post, hey, has anyone seen Emily? This is her husband. I can't find her, she's
I
been
must have. I can't recall, but I must
You
have.
don't remember that? Like 2 days ago.
I don't know if it was me that I forgot on. I must have. I had.
Was someone else using her phone now? So the phone stayed at the house the whole time? You didn't like hand it out to a cousin or walking down the street, some Joe stranger or anything else like that? Okay. So
No,
What the
her family
fuck?
didn't come.
Have
Just
you ever accessed
search for
Facebook
her.
on your phone?
I can't.
Good save.
So I've never done it.
Good save.
I try to post stuff
Do
on
not
her
come.
page from my phone, but it doesn't like.
But you can't get in as her on her Facebook.
I can do it from her phone. I can do it. Yeah.
Yes.
Just get on her phone, go to Facebook. And
Okay.
I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did. I can't say I definitively did, but I'm sure I got on.
So-
Okay, I did, didn't I? I did. You guys know. I went on and say, this is Matt. I'm Emily's husband. She's missing. I must have. I had to. I just don't recall right now if I did. But I'm pretty. I mean, that would be the move to make her. I mean,
Just because we ask you a question, it doesn't mean that we're going at it. It's
I
not a trick question. It's
know,
just
I
to make
know,
sure.
you're right, and I'm just trying to tell you that if I don't, like, in my head, picture it, I don't want to say I did. But, I mean, it would be the move to make. I mean, yeah, it did happen. I must have.
Okay.
I've been using my phone, her phone for the last, this is Wednesday now? I don't even know what day it is anymore. I mean, I've been using 2 phones, so it's looking at her friends.
But you know you can't post from yours, so if you post into her Facebook account, it has to be through her phone.
It has to be through her phone, there's no doubt about it.
Did you use her phone for any other purpose?
Like what?
You text a few friends, you text some friends of hers, or in contact?
I'm sure I did. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I had to because
Mhm.
I don't have a lot of her friends' phone numbers and stuff. So yeah, that's why when you gave the phone to you guys, I was like, we need that phone back to contact people.
And for, do you think, did you make? I don't know,
Be considered in me.
Boo! Boo, Wendy! Boo, Wendy Testaburger, boo!
There, I give you an Eric Cartman boo. And I found this.
Fish. Now I know that I'm a gay fish. Gay fish, yo. Motherfucking gay fish. I'm a fish, yo. Going on a gay fish. Gay
Oh, that was my favorite, one of my favorite ones.
Facebook account? Did you make 1, did you make 5?
I mean, I don't
Do you
know.
remember what you wrote?
I At some
Nazi
point, I started.
fags.
Oh, that's right. When you guys took the phone, that's when I started posting from my phone. I'm going to say everything prior to that was probably. I don't know why I would post. I can't.
Was anything deleted?
I got all my obligated songs in. There's sound bites in.
Second, one more portion of the interview play here is marked as State Exhibit 74D, and that's the published that to the jury this time.
I'll be guessing, but I think she would hear herself.
How do you push her?
She would say that she was going to do it, she would hang herself.
So, and of course, no one knows anything. I'm just asking for your opinion. So, you think that she hung herself?
I don't know.
Just what
Do they have a
does
box
say.
fan in that room?
Did she hurt herself?
Looks like it, yeah.
You gotta believe her.
Weird.
Has she ever
I'm going to say, you know, you can come along.
believed this talk?
For the ambient
She
noise.
has talked about killing herself before, but not anywhere else. Call the authorities and say, you need to save her.
If she were to hang herself, where would she do it?
She would do it where she could easily found. She wouldn't want to cross the contact.
You can almost hear nothing that they're saying.
Is it plausible?
Because of the fan.
Oh, I know.
You're the police. I'm not.
I just want you to just look at it, the entire thing. Just pull yourself out of it.
Is there a chance that she went out at some
Hey,
point?
dumbasses,
some
turn
of
off the
stuff
fan.
from Westerville, Ohio, or put her in the car and drove off with her? What are the odds that happened?
In Westerville, Ohio, almost 0%.
Zero.
Especially on Memorial Day, when everyone's at home. You know, it's a perfect day out.
So I'm going to say, was she abducted? No. I know I did not hurt her. I didn't do it.
MySpace was superior to Facebook.
Is that she did something.
Yeah, you could customize it.
Dude, I had the coolest MySpace ever.
Detective is part of your investigation. You have an opportunity to review
Love it.
We said if patrolling didn't stop, there would be severe
provided
consequences.
Officer Hollis the same as the details.
That one's for
provided.
cheese.
No, sir.
I'm going to put up for you what is previously the marked as State Exhibit 7. Can you see that, Detective?
Yes, sir, I can.
Can you tell us, first of all, what we're looking at here?
This is a still shot from Officer Hollis's body cam from when he was out on scene taking the original report from Mathew Moore.
And what do you notice about the location of some items there in the center?
Well, if you look towards the shelf in the middle, the picture right there, there's a red igloo cooler and a orangish red extension cord sitting on top of it. And if you notice, there are two sets of herbs drying in the wall behind them. And directly next to that red igloo is some sort of orange tackle box or toolbox or something else like that.
At the top right there, does it indicate what time that screenshot was taken?
So that is taken at 22:37 and 24 seconds in Zulu time.
And it's about 4 hours from that to get Eastern Daylight Time?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you State Exhibit 8. Tell us what we're looking at there.
This is another still shot from Officer Hollis's body cam from when he was taking the missing person report from Mathew Moore.
And what do you notice about the location of those items now?
The items have now been moved. If you notice, the red cooler with the orange extension cord on top has now been shifted over to the right. Those two sets of drying herbs are no longer directly behind the cooler itself.
The humanity.
They're away from that orangish tackle box, toolbox, whatever it is. And now there's a red flashlight that's been placed out.
And do you recall how the defendant and Officer Hollis got back to that location?
I need about
before the
$3.50.
screenshot was taken?
Yes, so just before
What's
this
$3.50?
screenshot,
$3.50.
to Mathew Moore in the driveway, and Mr. Moore wanted to notify Officer Hollis that he had noticed something in the garage.
I forget how terrible South Park is. I can't even fucking put half these up.
Detective, we heard testimony yesterday about a tip line being put out. Can you tell the jury about that?
So there are two ways that if the police department is ever looking for the public's assistance, we have a phone number where people can call in. It's a general phone number that goes into the supervisor in the detective bureau, and then he can dole it out, to whoever the investigator is. And we also have a email address where if someone wants to just send an email to us with a tip, they can do so that way as well.
As the lead officer of the investigation, were you the one that collected all those tips that
No.
will end up with you?
I wouldn't say all of them, but if I had to put a number on it, I'd say easily 90% of them. There was just such a huge volume of phone calls and emails and stuff coming in that it's truly, honestly hard for one person to look at every single tip that comes in, but primarily, yes, sir.
And was that a rare occurrence, an everyday occurrence? Something else?
Receiving tips from the tip line? I
don't think I
about
could
every
do
day.
this.
There were tips coming in, sometimes several tips a day, sometimes just one or two. There was no set number.
This guy looks like Zelensky, just a chunkier Zelensky. Changed my
Did
mind.
you attempt to follow up on all those tips that continued to come in?
Yes, sir, we did.
Detective, as
Oh no.
part of your investigation, did you
Uh-oh,
have
retard
contact with
alert!
Thomas?
Retard alert, class!
And
I'm done.
did you have any conversations with Ms. Thomas about her conversations with Matt?
Yes, I did.
And specifically in the middle of June, do you remember any conversation you had with Ms. Thomas?
Objection is the hearsay what Ms. Thomas told the detective.
Overruled. He can answer whether he had a conversation.
Yes, I did have a conversation.
As part of your investigation, did you conduct a neighborhood canvass?
Yes, I did.
And did you speak to an individual by the name of John Kramer?
Yes, sir, I did.
And without saying what he said, did you talk to John Kramer about the timeline of events and when he had last seen Emily?
Yes, sir.
Nosy neighbor.
As part of the investigation, were some bank records obtained?
Yes, sir, they were.
And can you tell us generally what was in the bank records?
They would provide, at the beginning, just an overview, what sort of accounts they had, the names that were on those accounts, and then from there, if there were any sort of transactions, either from swiping a debit card or writing a check itself.
Did you see any activity on the accounts belonging to Emily Noble after the day she went missing?
Strictly Emily Noble?
Yeah, so an account that only belonged to Emily Noble.
I can't recall that, no, sir.
Were there accounts that did not strictly belong to Emily?
Yes, there was an account in both Mathew Moore's name as well as Emily Noble's.
And did you find any transactions in that joint account after the date that Emily went missing?
Yes, sir, I did.
And generally speaking, what were those?
The two that really drew my attention were there was two separate $5,000 checks signed by Mr. Moore.
Detective, I'm going to just show you, once I get this up here. Detective, I'm marking, this is Exhibit 77. Are you able to see that up in front of you?
Yes, sir, I can.
And as I scroll through it, can you say generally what it is?
It seems to be the records that we received back from J.P. Morgan Chase for any account information involving Mr. Moore and Emily Noble.
And I'm going to come up and show you specifically information.
Okay, kind of lied. I have one more.
Transactions that you mentioned, but do you see that information on page 23, 24, 25, and 26 of the
This is for D's.
Exhibit there?
Yes, sir.
There were no Russians in our campaign. There never were. Have you seen any Russians in West Virginia or Ohio or Pennsylvania? Are there any Russians here tonight? Any Russians?
Okay.
What clip do you want, damn it? Do you want the 350 one again?
I need about 350.
Okay.
Do you recognize these two documents?
Yes, I
What's
do.
$3.50?
And generally speaking, can you tell Jerry what they are?
$3.50.
They are two copies of checks that we received back in that transaction from J.P. Morgan Chase that were signed by Mathew Moore.
He's talking about your new grift.
Oh, the scanning for Mexicans one? That
Oh,
was
yeah,
so
this time it has
long.
to publish the
No,
Exhibit
not
78.
that
Jerry.
one. Maybe
No,
that
that's what
one.
he just
I don't
said.
know.
Detective, can you tell us what we're looking at there?
Scanning for Mexicans.
Written out and signed by Matheau Moore.
We've got a Mexican!
Does the date appear to be on the check?
It appears to be May 5th of 2020.
And who does that check appear to be made out to?
It's made out to a Paul Pulver.
And what was the amount on the check?
The amount is $5,000.
$350.
Turn to the second page of Exhibit 78.
We're gonna have fun with that clip.
Does that indicate a posting date of when that date was actually, that check was actually cashed?
What's
Yes,
up,
sir,
Jacob
does.
Castro over on the Rumble?
And what was that date?
June 8th of 2020.
Damn, see? It drew one out. The
not
first one drew out the Russian, and the second one drew out the Mexican.
Your Honor, may I publish 79?
Yes, I'm sorry, no objection.
Detective, I'm now showing you what's marked States 79. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
This is another copy of a check that was filled out and signed by Matheau Moore.
And who was that check written to?
Arturo Ragaroli.
And what was the date that was listed on that check?
The date for that is June 6th of 2020.
Okay.
And
What
finally,
does
the
that
second
have
page of
anything to
Exhibit
do with
79. Can you
anything?
tell us what the posting date was of that particular check?
June 9th of 2020.
Detective, did you receive additional bank records pursuant to another subpoena?
Detective Bagwell did, yes, sir.
I don't know what F clip you're
Westbrook
talking
Department
about.
Other records?
Yes, sir.
Again, I'm just going to show you up there just to identify them, but
I couldn't find those on the soundboard, but I'll look for more.
As I scroll through that, look like the other records that you're familiar with in the case.
Yes, sir, it is.
And those are true and accurate copies of the records your department received pursuant to subpoenas that were issued to J.P. Morgan Chase Bank.
That is correct.
I found this
Detective,
one.
now I wanna get
This one's
into,
funny, but probably not going to play it.
Talking about cell phones.
I mean, not tonight, but
We said if the trolling didn't stop, there would be severe
When
consequences.
was a phone belonging to Emily Noble collected?
Tuesday, May 26th of 2020.
I'm afraid to.
And what was going on at that time? When was that collected?
Oh, no.
That was during the knock and talk with myself and Detective PG.
When was a phone collected from Matt Moore?
Wednesday, May 27th of 2020.
And when was that phone collected?
Approximately 4:30 in the afternoon during the execution of the search warrant.
Were both of those phones that were collected in late May 2020 provided to Detective Leckie?
Yes, they were.
And after Detective
So there was
Leckie,
never a reason for the checks. They
his
just
portion with the
threw it
phones,
in there
did you
that he
receive
wrote a
back,
couple checks.
Yeah.
These reports, these extraction reports that we're talking about here.
Yes, sir.
That's stupid.
Are you familiar with
Makes
those
sense.
types of cell phone extraction reports?
Yes, sir.
You have experience dealing with them?
Yes, sir.
And
Dumb Dollar Tree.
were you able to sort
Wolverine.
through the different tabs and the information that was on the phones as
Wish.com.
Detective Howard testified earlier this morning?
Yes, sir, I was.
And you were able to create additional reports or search for certain materials and
Oh, you
distill that down
DM'd it
rather
to
than
me?
having a
Oh,
200,000 line
that scares
pop-up.
me.
Yes, sir.
Before we get into talking about some of these reports, what time are they in?
Yeah, Bobby, that's what I'm saying.
They're in the Zulu time, Greenwich Mean Time. Essentially, it's the standard of time for the rest of the globe. It is based off of.
And so in order to convert to what would have been local time in May of 2020, what do you have to do?
From the time shown, you have to subtract 4 hours to get the current time as it is in Eastern Standard Time.
I don't know if I can play that much of it.
As part of your investigation, did you review texts
no.
between Matt and Emily?
Yes, sir, I did.
I'll mark this for identification purposes as State's Exhibit 81.
No, I can't. All right, we're gonna do it. Fuck it. Who cares? Hang on. Tease, this is because I love you. This is there's. I needed that.
All right, and this is where I take my leave.
Oh my god, I forgot about that episode. It's all Digger's fault. She said I had to share it.
Detective, are you able to see this document in front of you?
Yes, I am.
Hey, what's up,
looking
AP?
up at the top, can you tell us
AP.
What State's Exhibit 81 is?
This is a text message.
No, I'm not
conversation
gone, am I?
between Emily Noble's phone and Mathew Moore's phone.
And
No.
does the first page of the report reflect that those are the two participants?
Yes, sir, it does.
And does it list next to the conversation what type of conversation this is?
Instant message conversation.
And Detective,
I'm not gone.
State
I'm
Exhibit
watching me.
81, do you see that
Yeah.
how many pages it is?
It looks to be about 503 pages altogether.
And is that an exhibit that lists all of the text messages or instant messages between Matt Moore and Emily Noble that you were able to recover from the phones?
Yes, sir.
I want to talk generally about this first. Can you... The defendant told you that their relationship was a sine wave, I think he said, or a roller coaster.
Yeah, he kind of described it as very up and down. Yes, sir.
Did your review
Most
of their instant messages...
Relationships with people are
Yes,
up
sir,
and
it
down. At some point
Can
in
you give us
life.
an idea of what kinds of things you saw?
There was very much an up and down text conversation between the two of them. 1 minute it's, I love you, and I've packed your lunch, and I can't wait to come home. And then the next minute, there's just, you better not be drunk when I get home, and just a lot more negativity with the downside of it as well.
Did that up and
Okay.
down relationship continue throughout the
Okay.
entire time of the text messages or instant messages that you were able to recover?
No, sir, it did not.
And when did that change?
It was very much up and down from the beginning of it, at the end of October, until approximately beginning of April. And at that point, it seemed to be the up and down. There were no more ups, and the conversation just seemed to be going down at that point.
As part of your investigation, were you able to load up that report and search for individual words?
Yes, sir.
And were you able to search to see how many times the word love appeared?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about March of 2020.
Okay.
Did the word love
Relevance?
appear?
Right. What is the
in these
relevance
messages?
of any of this?
Stupid.
Yes, it did.
And how would you characterize that?
Good morning, my love. I love you. Just in the typical sense when you hear the word love, it is how somebody would use it.
After that,
Has
beginning-
anybody ever told you that they love you?
excuse me, after that time in March,
Except for
how
that
many other
fucking
times did you see the word
Arby's
love in
sandwich?
The last time that I saw it was April 7th of 2020.
Did you do Dancing with the
Fair to
Stars
say you don't know what they were saying to each other in person or in
No.
other potential ways of communicating.
in Ukraine?
But with Greece, with regard to the instant
No.
messages, the word love doesn't appear any longer after the beginning of April.
That is correct.
And so I'm going to mark first portion of these messages as Exhibit 81A.
Well, that was weird.
Hopefully,
It
it was
just seems to be-
relevancy on the stupid love.
Well, they just seem to be throwing darts at nothing.
Yeah.
And it's really odd. It's really odd. They seem to be just throwing whatever they can and hoping that something sticks.
Yeah. I don't understand.
I truly don't understand either. Like they,
I mean, it
they
shows they have
still,
nothing.
yeah, they still have not shown a single thing this entire trial, and we're days in at this point.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh, if I was even slightly organized, it would be dangerous.
That was great. You are going to hear some evidence about text messages that were obtained through the extraction you've heard about from these devices. And these conversations, the text involves two
No
people,
more crotch
Emily and
shots
Matt.
while I was gone,
They're
right?
being offered to you as evidence as to what
No, you didn't miss any
Mr.
dicky
Moore
do.
said. The
Okay.
statements of Emily are simply being provided as context to his statements. And I will tell you that that is the only reason they're being offered. They're not being offered for the truth of what she said, which means her words are not to be considered as evidence by you. But you may consider his words and give whatever weight you believe appropriate to his testimony. So I wanted to give you a sense, or my own context, of what
Seriously?
the meaning of the conversations are and how they are to be considered by you. So what he
What
says
the
is something you
fuck?
consider. What she says simply will allow you to provide an understanding of what he says.
No.
What he says next. But
You're
what she
trying to
says
clarify
is
what the court's doing?
Yeah, that's some bull right
You're
there.
going to hear about chats they had, messages they sent back to each other. People do that these days. They don't talk to each other, they text each other. So that's what's going on here.
I merely said that because there's no way to link the device to a person. It's just coming from.
I understand. Again, you just listen to what the evidence says and you'll give whatever weight you deem appropriate. Please proceed.
Hey, I'm approaching.
And before we get into that, I just want to say that all couples, no matter how blazingly homosexual they are or not, all couples have problems at some point.
Yeah.
Like, Ozzy and I have been through ups and downs, and at one point, this was Ozzy talking about me.
Oh, I appreciate that, Marty. I really do. Thank you. And if I would give you a cuddle.
Give me a cuddle. And I was making fun of him, saying I was going to post this ridiculous stream all over so that more people watched him throw up. And he wanted to give me a cuddle. So sometimes it can be mixed emotions and feelings. Like one could go one way, one could go the other way. And if there's one thing I like to do, it's provide you with real life examples that you can definitely take to the bank. Fuck you, Ozzy. I did it.
Can you take one quickly that document?
You said it on stream, just like the other one. Do we need to bring up the rest? I didn't say anything about the pool. That's where the fun really happened, but...
Detective, do you recognize the document?
Cuddles are exciting.
Tell her what it is. It is part of a text thread conversation between Emily Noble's phone and Matt Moore's phone.
This one has the published exhibit 81A to the jury.
No.
Ooh. Ooh.
Detective,
blurry.
first to help orient us here, can you tell us what is on the left-hand side?
Those are the messages from Matt Moore.
And can you tell us what's on the right-hand side?
The messages in green on the right-hand side are messages from Emily Noble.
Underneath the actual content of the message, do you see where it says status?
Yes.
And what does that indicate?
There's a status of sent as well as a status of read by the recipient.
I want to start with this conversation. When's the first message from?
First message is from Matt Moore.
And what date is this?
It is November 21st, 2019.
And what's the time in Eastern time?
In Eastern time, it's going to be 11:57:02 a.m.
And what was the...
I better get royalties if he
So
writes
you're
a book,
super strong.
damn it.
I love you for that.
And the responses?
The response from Emily says, "I'm trying. Thank you."
I checked the testimony of the response from Emily. No issue with the phone number. There's been no foundation that Emily was the one that sent that text message.
I think it goes to weight, not admissibility.
Well,
She got a point.
What is being responded back is not evidence anyway. I've already instructed the jury to that. So we're simply going to deal with his statements. These other statements are context to what he says. So I've instructed the jury to consider his statements and not the other statements. So we'll understand that
True.
these are responses to
True.
statements made by the
Probably.
jury. We can proceed accordingly.
Detective, in your review of the cell phone up until after Emily went missing, did you find anything that suggested somebody other than Emily Noble was using her phone?
No, sir.
Detective, I'm showing you page 2 of this exhibit. Do you see 2 messages there from Matt Moore's phone?
Yes, sir.
And
Didn't he say that Matt was
First one says, okay.
manipulating her phone though earlier?
It says, why does it bother you so much?
In the
Does that mean anything to you without considering what?
in
led
the
to those
interview,
statements?
I mean his interrogation, yeah.
One, that's
No,
exactly what I
I'm not
wanted.
asking you
2,
I'm not asking
that's
you
enough
I'm
to
just
make a
asking,
fucking
that statement by
sweater,
itself doesn't
so
make any
I'm
sense
good with
without the
that.
context of the statement comes before. I'm just doing this one backwards to explain the court's evidentiary ruling.
Is this where I take my leave?
Well, I'll just show you the message.
No, you're stuck here for the long,
Can you
the long
read the
haul.
message that came right
I
before
saved
this?
all these for you.
The message from Emily Noble's phone says, I want to know if you start on vodka before I get home. I can't watch that again.
And what was the response?
Okay. And then why does it bother you so much? Am I mean?
What was the response?
The response from Emily's phone is not me.
Oh no.
And what did Mr. Moore say at that time?
He responded back, well, then try and get here as soon as you can, please.
Oh, geez.
Oh.
Detective, I'm not showing you what's labeled as page 66. Can you tell us what that second message there is on this page?
It says, I started drinking at like 11 a.m. yesterday, and I drank way too much. I'm going to start cooking at 5. Do you mind if I have a drink when I start cooking? And I promise not to get hammered.
Another message from the defendant's phone, bottom of the page.
It says, thanks. I'm going to get it together soon. I just need to let this sadness thing run its course. It won't be much longer.
Huh.
So he's grieving.
So he drunk her. He
No, page
drank to
67,
cope with
is
something.
there a
What
message?
the
Yeah.
hell's wrong with that? I
Yes,
mean,
there is.
And what was that?
It says you have to stay positive.
And then what did the defendant say?
He responded with, you're afraid to talk.
And the response?
The response from Emily's phone is, it's difficult to impossible to talk with you when you have vodka brain.
And what was the defendant's response to that?
Mathew Moore says, that is an excuse. You are afraid to be confronted with things you don't agree with. Your intellect is shallow.
okay, so let's be serious for like 3 seconds here. So I know I'm trying to turn this shit around. This has got to be hell for this man sitting here listening to this again because of his deceased wife, and this provides no relevant value to any fucking conversation. So what? They had an argument,
Right?
Whatever. This is just disgusting on the behalf of the prosecutor. Like I think this is
yeah.
way
It's
too
terrible.
much.
Again, there's nothing.
You're
They
proving
fought.
absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing here. So, vodka? Sorry, did you have something? I cut you off.
No. I just
Did he
can't.
continue texting on the next page, page 68?
Yes, he did.
And what did he say there?
He said, you are not interested in what other people think or say. It's not an insult. It's an observation. If you hear something you don't agree with, you get mad and give it no credence. Maybe you should leave me alone.
Detective, the bottom of page 69. Can you tell us what that message is?
It says, my toenail is growing back. Looks good. Where did you go last night?
And what
Gross.
was the date time on that?
It is November 22nd, 2019. Did you want the time? And the time is 12:08:14 p.m.
And what was the response to that question?
I'm scared to go home. And are you drinking vodka?
And what was his response?
I'm not drinking.
Detective, I'm going to hand you what I'm marking as Exhibit A1B. Becky, can you take a look at that?
Yes, sir.
Digger, we're not giving any spoilers.
This is 81B.
Shinny hasn't seen this case, and so we want to go through it all the way through.
Do you recognize that document, sir?
I do.
Generally speaking, can you tell me what it is?
It's more the text conversation between Matt Moore's phone and Emily Noble's phone.
Hey, cool frog.
Starting halfway down the page there on the left. Can you tell us what we're looking at there?
It's a text message from Mathew Moore's phone.
And what's the date and time on that?
It is December 31st, 2019. Let me back up, adding the 4 hours in. December 30th, 2019 at 10:19:11 p.m.
Damn it, Bobby.
What's the message?
It says, "I don't want to argue. If you don't have anything positive to say, keep it to yourself, please."
And what was the response?
Thanks a lot.
I'm showing you what's marked on my corner, page 215 of that. Can you tell us what we have there?
It's a response to the last message that I just read.
And what was that?
It says, "That's not positive."
And further message after that?
The next message is later on December 31st, 2019. It says, "I hope you're feeling better this morning. It's New Year Eve. Are we just staying home tonight? I think that would be fun."
And the responses?
"You used the wrong word last night several times. Don't know what to say." And then later on it says, "It sent me in the wrong direction."
And what was statement in blue?
Try and be positive.
There are responses then from Emily Noble?
Yes, sir.
And what were those?
"I'm not doing well. You broke me. Promise to not use that word, and it's like you set the direction for my next 24 hours. Why did you use that word repeatedly?"
And what was Mr. Moore's response?
"You don't have to play games. If you want me to move out, just say, excuse me, if you want me to move out, just please say it. I want nothing but truth in my circle."
The messages continue on the next page.
You guys are terrible.
Response is, "I want an answer." And Mathew Moore's response is, "I don't want to argue. I'm not arguing. I want to know. I'm stuck in this shithole. Can't leave."
And what was the response from Mr. Moore?
"I know what doing. If you want me to leave, I would appreciate you just being honest and straightforward. I'm not going to play games. I'm old and tired, so please show some empathy. If you want to get a divorce, just say it."
Let's mark the states of it 81C. If you take a moment to look over that document.
Shinny, if you're around, just don't look at chat. Yes, Digger. He's joking.
It is another part of the phone.
He's
excuse me,
joking.
the text conversation between Matt
Bobby
Moore's
is joking.
telephone, Matt Moore's phone and Emily Noble's phone.
Yeah, it's a published 81C to the jury. Back to the top of the page, is there a message from Matt Moore?
Yes, there is.
And can you tell the jury what it says?
It says, "Sorry about last night. I drank too much. I hope you can understand."
And what was the response?
"Do you remember what you told me?
No, Shinny,
Do
do
you
not
remember the phone
listen to
conversation I
Digger.
overheard?"
What did the
Do
defense say
not
back?
look at chat.
"I'm getting ready for my appointment right now. Let's talk when you get home.
In response to that?
Just please answer me when you get a chance."
And the top of that page.
I remember some of it.
That conversation continue?
Yes, it does.
On the bottom of page 372. Tell us what we're looking at there.
It's a text message from Emily Noble's phone.
And what did it say?
It says, "You might want to find out what I heard you talk about last night on the phone. It's very serious. I'm not wearing my wedding rings. We won't be able to talk tonight because you've been drinking.
And what was the response to that message?
Texting makes me anxious. Anxiety might be the reason I'm unhealthy.
Detective, I'm going to show you next what's marked as State Exhibit 81D. Okay, what's marked as State Exhibit 81D. If you take a moment to flip that over.
Shinny didn't see all of this trial, so we're trying to not put spoilers in there.
Okay. You recognize that document, sir?
I do.
And tell us what it says? Or what it is?
It's more the text conversation between Emily Noble's phone and Matt Moore's phone.
Showing you a message at the bottom of 6 of A1D. Can you tell us what that message was?
None of these messages are relevant.
The message from March 24th, 2020. It says, I'm not feeling very well today. I'm just going to stay in here today. I don't feel like talking.
And what was the response?
Are you sick? Symptoms?
And what was the response from Mr. Moore?
Sick in the head.
Detective, finally from this portion of the phone forensics, we're going to hand you what's marked as 6 Exhibit 81E. Look over that. Okay.
Okay.
Digger mine occasionally does it, and then
6 Exhibit 81E is?
It is.
it
text
comes
messages
back,
from
so
Mathew Moore's cell phone.
I don't know about the autofill name.
Showing you the message on the bottom of 6 Exhibit 81E. Can you tell us what date and time that message is from?
It's from May 25th, 2020 at 11:54:25 a.m.
And what was the text message?
It says, are we going to this party or what?
What time? Does it also indicate a status of being read?
It does.
And does it indicate a status of what time?
It was
that
read
was read?
May 25th, 2020 at 4:42:01 p.m.
And Detective, showing you the second page of 6 Exhibit A1E. Can you tell us what that message is?
It is another message from Matt Moore's cell phone.
And at what time was that message sent?
It was May 25th, 2020 at 2:58:30 p.m.
And does that also indicate a status of being read?
It does.
And does it show what time that was read?
It was read May 25th, 2020 at 4:42:01 p.m.
The same time as the previous message was read?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to
He
examine
looked at her
cell phone
phone.
forensics for information related specifically to that time period of May 24th and 25th?
Yes, I was.
Let's start with all right. Let's start with we're on 82. Detective, were you able to examine any location information that was found on Emily Noble's phone?
Yes, I was.
And I'm going to put up there for you to see first. You able to see that document, sir?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I don't know what they. What's the exhibit on it? 6 of 82. Detective, generally speaking, can you tell us what State Exhibit 82 is?
This is some of the location data from Emily Noble's cell phone.
And those are the location information that was recorded by your phone for May 24th, May 25th?
That is correct.
And is it a true and accurate sub-report of your location information for just for those 2 days that were on the phone?
Yes, it is.
This time I asked to publish State Exhibit 82 to the jury.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Detective, I'm showing you a portion of State Exhibit 82.
True negative have
tell
shot
us-
about that.
The first row across is showing GPS coordinates and then a date and time. And of course, with the time, you'd have to subtract the 4 hours for the Eastern Standard Time.
Were you, what did you do to figure out what those locations were?
You can actually take those GPS coordinates and enter them in online, and it'll give you it's not down to the foot or anything like that by any means, but it'll give you an idea of the GPS coordinates of where that device was at that date and time.
And is that being able to use something like Google Maps in order to do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
For the record, I'm taking the latitude and longitude that's in the first position there, line 1. Do you recognize that location that came up on the first line?
I do.
And generally speaking, what is in that area?
It is in the area of Buckville, Ohio, where the underground springs are located.
And what was the date and time that location was on her phone?
May 24th, 2020 at 9:39:42 a.m.
Bobby.
The other 2 entries of location data on Emily's phone,
yes,
can you tell us what those appear to be related to?
Oh no, do not send pictures to me, Bobby.
And in the second column under info, is there a something listed under name?
You could send them to me, Bobby.
IMG_2788.
Plus, all you guys are bitching about
lines 2
this
and 3,
trial.
do they
You
have,
guys picked this one, okay? I
is that
left it to
something
a
on the
vote.
name that was
You
listed there?
assholes picked.
It is.
I didn't pick it.
IMG_2788.
Not you. These
.HEIC,
assholes.
I know.
As well as line 3 is IMG_2789.HEIC.
Try and blame me for this shit. Oh, I think it's been a good trial. In all seriousness,
one
it's showed us that
indicates a UTC
our
plus
system's
0
trash.
for the GPS entry?
Exactly.
Correct.
Does that similarly show up on these 2 entries?
It gives a exact date and time of that for those.
And what were those?
What's the name of them?
What was the date and time that was on those 2 entries?
May 24th, 2020 at 4:18:33, as well as May 24th, 2020 at 4:18:42.
Were you able to find those 2 images, image 2788 and image 2789?
Yeah, but it's your channel, so got him. Good show, chap.
Oh, come on. Please.
Only when I'm about to shoot.
And can you, generally speaking, what are they?
They are 2 selfie photographs.
Come on, Mighty.
True and accurate copies of image.
You expect me not to get in the weeds with these?
Recovered from Emily's phone.
Yes, they are.
I got the time
I
that's
missed
published
you guys.
83 and 84 to jury. Text, can you tell the jury what we're looking at here?
We're looking at a selfie photograph of Emily Noble and Matt Moore.
And states of 84.
Again, another selfie photograph. This one appears to be from directly in front of him, of Emily Noble and Matt Moore.
Detective, when you look at such an image on the phone forensics, are you able to look at additional details or further data related to that photograph?
It'll also give you the approximate GPS of where that phone device was at the time of that image.
And you're also able to see things like metadata related to where that photograph came from or what device took that photograph?
Yes, sir.
Wait, are they those kind of pictures?
Okay.
Okay.
And can you tell us generally what that document is?
It's got the name of the file itself, which is the IMG_2789.HEIC that I previously mentioned, as well as the creation date and time, and that goes back to the universal
It
time
was
you get to subtract
posted on the
from,
Facebooks, I
as well
think.
as where the path is.
Oh,
of
so
that,
it wasn't that
file on the
kind of
device
big.
itself.
No. So,
Your Honor, that's a published statement of 85 to the jury.
oh.
Detective, that additional information or details, does that indicate a date and time which this photograph was created?
It does.
And what was that date and time?
What does this have to
May
do with
24th,
anything?
2020
They
at
took a picture.
4:18:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And does it indicate
Pictures.
information about what camera was used to create this photograph?
It was created on an iPhone 8 Plus.
Look at this photograph.
Detective, do you...
I wasn't going to sing it.
83, do you recognize that location?
I do.
And can you tell us what that location is?
It's the Cobley restaurant in Westerville, Ohio.
And where generally is that located?
It's right on State Street in Uptown Westerville.
Where generally is it located? Does it move?
Yeah,
Cutting and
sometimes.
pasting those GPS coordinates into Google Maps. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
It's the approximate GPS location. Again, it's not down to the foot. It's not an exact science by any means, but it does provide a general location of Koble.
All we do is trust the science here. So if it's not science, get that shit out of here.
Detective, were you also, in addition to that location data, able to obtain health data from Emily's phone?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you on marking exhibit 86. You able to see that on your screen?
Yes, sir.
And as I scroll through that so you can see it, can you tell us generally what it is that we're looking at here?
So this is the health data. It'll show anytime that there is movement of a person essentially holding that device itself.
No,
it gives
D's.
a date and time for when that is launched.
Fuck you, Bobby.
And does that appear to be a true and accurate copy of the health
Have a
data
good
recovered
one,
from Emily's
Digger.
phone for May
Good night,
24th and May
Digger.
25th?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, this time that's to publish exhibit 86 to the jury. Detective, I want, if you could tell us just, to orient us here, what's on the first page, what does this indicate?
This is some of the health data from the phone on May 24th of 2020.
I'm going to turn your attention specifically to row 22. And can you tell us what information is reflected on row 22?
It shows a movement of 32 steps on May 24th, 2020 at 6:47:04.
6:47 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
And right below
Digger,
that,
I missed
line
y'all
23, what does that reflect?
It reflects a movement of 8 steps on May 24th, 2020 at 7:25:08 p.m.
Those things are wildly
And the next
unreliable,
line,
though.
Mm-hmm.
row 24.
So the next movement recorded on that device shows a movement of 79 steps, and it is May 25th, 2020 at 5:13:29 p.m.
No health data recorded between lines 23 and 24?
No data was recorded.
And so how long of a time period are we talking where there was no movement recorded on Emily's phone?
Approximately 22 hours.
Okay, so you took your
Okay.
smartwatch off
Are you
and
able to
put it
look
in
at
Yeah.
search terms
charger.
and web history for the device?
Yes, sir.
For the record, I'm going to mark the search terms as stays exhibit 87, and the web history is stays exhibit.
I don't know. Have
Detective, are you able
your
to
phone on you.
see the first page, stays exhibit
Right.
87?
Yes, sir.
And generally speaking, what is it?
That'd
These
be
are
blasphemy
search
in
terms
today's
that
day
were
and
located
age.
on Emily Noble's
I know.
And the first entry in this report, what date does that indicate?
It is January 25th of 2020.
Oh no.
And going all the way to the bottom of the last entry, what date would that indicate?
May 24th of 2020.
Detective, did you examine the searched items on Emily's cell phone?
Yes, I did.
Thinks you ran a marathon,
Did you
doesn't it,
find any
Bobby?
search terms at all related to suicide?
No, I did not.
What, generally speaking, types of search terms did you find?
A lot of search terms.
Oh my god, if he
involving
says
planes
generally
and
speaking one more time, I'm
foraging
going to
and
lose my
nature.
mind.
Similarly, Detective,
Generally speaking,
you able to see states
this
of
is
the-
ridiculous.
Yes, sir.
Fuck up.
And generally speaking, can you tell us what that is?
Oh
This
my
is the
god.
web history for Emily Noble's device.
And what was the date of the first entry on the web history?
January 9th of 2020.
And all the way down here at the bottom, what's the last entry?
The very last entry looks like May 26th of 2020.
This web history reflects what was able to be recovered from the phone of websites that were visited?
That is correct.
Same question. Any web history at all related to suicide over that almost 6 month period?
No, sir.
How many trips to Etsy? Hey, what's up, Matt Moore?
Hey, Matt.
Detective, were you also able to look at the data called timeline,
Yes, sir.
as well as the data called device events?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to mark for purpose of the record, stays of 89 and 90. Detective, stays of 89, can you tell us generally what we're looking at there?
This looks like the timeline of events on Emily Noble's device.
And what's the date of the first entry there?
May 22nd of 2020.
And what is the date of the last entry?
May 26th of 2020.
And so does this timeline reflect a sub-report of the data that was found on Emily's phone for those dates from the 22nd to the 26th?
Yes, it does.
And going back up to the top, can you see how many entries there were in timeline?
Looks like 3,386.
Were you also able to examine evidence from the phone under the heading device events?
Yes, sir.
And I'm showing you now for the record, State Exhibit 90. Can you, generally speaking, what is that?
These are the device events that were recorded on Emily Noble's device.
And what's the date of the first entry?
May 24th of 2020.
And the date of the last entry?
May 25th, 2020.
Detective, do State Exhibit 89 and 90 appear to be true and accurate copies of sub-reports of the data that was found on the timeline and device events for those date ranges?
Yes, they do.
Detective, what did you do with that data, that information contained in those two reports?
Essentially, I opened up an Excel spreadsheet and merged the device events and timeline events of Emily Noble's device onto it.
Detective, I'm going to show you what's being marked as State Exhibit 91.
It always blows my mind. They're so intrusive when they're investigating.
Mm-hmm.
Detective, I'm handing you a very lengthy document, but if you just take a brief moment to look at it. And have no record.
Yes, I do.
And generally speaking, what is it?
This is the Excel
Light rain,
spreadsheet that was
essentially.
created involving the device events and timeline involving Emily Noble's device.
And is this the spreadsheet that you put together to distill down the voluminous amounts of information that were found on the phone?
Absolutely, it was.
Your Honor, at this time, I ask to publish State Exhibit 91 to the jury.
Any objection? No. Your Honor, no, thank you.
And Detective, we'll come back to this in more detail in a moment, but can you tell us, generally speaking, what is it that we're looking at here on State's Exhibit 91, the first page?
It involves the timeline and device events for both Matt Moore's device as well as Emily Noble's device.
And it's not coming through real well on the overhead, but are those...
Again, why is this relevant?
Is that in different colors?
Why is anything they've done relevant so far?
Can you tell us what the colors represent?
The red is Emily Noble's device and the blue is Matt Moore's device.
Yeah, I think this might be a good place to take the mid-afternoon break, if that works for everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take our 10-minute afternoon break. Remember the court's admonition. Thank you.
All right. Y'all know I'm horrible at picking a spot.
Yeah.
And I say disagrees with you, generally speaking. Yeah, I know, but... It's always just such a ridiculous amount of information.
Yeah.
And if it's relevant, I can see it. Like,
Right.
I can justify that in my head. But none of this has been, we still haven't heard anything relevant yet.
I mean, like, if it were, Joe Guy Jr. with a list of things to do.
Right. Like,
That's one thing. But there's
something
nothing.
different.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Generally speaking. You're welcome. I'm sorry, should I show myself out now?
No, you're kidding.
But yeah, I mean, like, that's way different than this, where there's nothing.
I mean, we've all seen several of these trials. There is nothing here yet. Not even.
Did you see the Diane Nash's little wave to the camera?
Uh-uh.
I mean, not her, but I mean her assistant. That was funny.
Well, you got to be thinking that they probably feel pretty good about themselves right now because they're obviously kicking ass, but...
Right. Taking names.
Just odd.
Yeah.
It's odd how little they have.
Right.
But I guess what's the downside if you're the state? You just...
Thank you. That's it.
You bring the trials and...
Yeah.
You're out nothing.
Thank you. Detective, to wrap up, talking about Emily Noble's phone
Taxpayers
now.
aren't, but yeah, they are not.
In your review of
Right.
the cell phone data, were you able to find text messages between Emily and Celeste about their get-together on May 22nd?
Yes, I was.
And were you also able to recover text messages from Emily Noble's phone between her and Westerville Dental?
Yes, I was.
Did you also examine the extraction report for the cell phone that was seized from the defendant?
Yes, I did.
These incompetent
Did you look
tards
at
are what
the
you
same
believed in
types of information
criminal
with
justice.
regard to-
Investigation geniuses couldn't find a rising corpse exactly where it was summarized to be in a bloodhound. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and it makes you wonder that even the ones that we know,
For the record, what's
Joel Guy Jr.,
89 or excuse me, 93?
that are
Um,
unquestionably guilty, well, was it just presented to us that way, or,
92, yes, sir.
you know,
And is that
was
a-
it... Obviously, that
Right.
one's an
Copy of the
extreme
self-report,
case,
the
but
location
Yes.
information
we only know what's
from the
being
defendant's
presented
phone
to us,
for
so
May 24th, May
are they
25th.
just
Yes,
good
it
at storytelling and, you know...
Without going through all of it line by line, can you tell
Highly
us generally
possible.
where the device
Yeah.
was shown to have gone on that day?
It was shown to go down to.
We all know lawyers are trash.
Or Buchtel. There's
Especially the Australian ones.
As well as on the way back, there was a stop off at I believe the rest area, and then also in Worthington, Ohio.
And this was, this is the iPhone that was seized from the defendant at
Yes,
the time
sir.
of the search warrant.
That is from May 27, 2020.
Did you also locate a photograph from the morning of May 24th?
Yes, I did.
On the approach. Hey, what's the mark? Just exhibit 93, if you take one look at it.
Okay.
Do you recognize that photograph, sir?
I do.
And generally speaking, what is it?
It's a photograph of Emily Noble down at the Buchtel water supply from May 24, 2020.
You want us to publish that to the jury? Detective, I'm showing you exhibit 93 now in the overhead. Can you tell us what it is? Now, the jury can see it, what we're looking at here.
It's a picture of Emily Noble down at the Buchtel water spring on May 24th of 2020.
And that photograph was taken that morning?
Yes, sir.
Detective, did you
Lawyers are trash, agree.
also examine
You had a damn good one, though.
health data
Yeah, Diane's
Yes, I
great.
did.
from the defendant's iPhone?
That is correct.
And again, for you to see, I'm showing you what's marked as exhibit 94. Do you recognize that document, sir?
Yes, I do.
And generally speaking, what is it?
It's the
Seems kind of like a threat, doesn't it?
Matt Moore's iPhone.
And specifically, the first entry
Is that extortion?
Me?
That is correct.
And last entry on May 25th.
That is correct.
So again, it's a sub-report of the health data for those two particular days.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And does it appear to be a true and accurate copy of the sub-report of the data that was recovered forensically from the defendant's iPhone?
Yes, it does.
All right. You have this time to publish Exhibit 94 to the jury.
No objection.
Detective, I'm going to go down to
Let's be for real about this. They were pretty
28,
agreeable,
29.
too. They could have been much more assholes.
Oh yeah,
It is
right.
two separate
So,
health
I
events that were
would've-
recorded on Mathew Moore's.
I would have been ejecting right and
And-
left.
what were the date and time?
Yeah.
Because
approximately
then,
of that
I mean,
movement
most
your
of the
cell
stuff wasn't
First
relevant.
one, it's movement of 18 steps on May 24th, 2020 at 7:29:18 p.m.
We need the steps
phone?
now.
And row 29?
like, how the hell are the
And
steps
another movement
relevant?
of 6 steps on May 24th, 2020 at 7:33:31 p.m.
I don't
After that
know.
movement around 7:30 p.m., when's the next movement that's recorded on the device?
The next movement that is recorded is May 25th, 2020 at 1:36:41 a.m.
And after that movement at 1:36 a.m. on May 25th, what's the next movement recorded by the phone?
The next movement of 44 steps is from May 25th, 2020 at 3:58:51 a.m.
So approximately 4 o'clock in the morning on May 25th.
That is correct, sir.
Row 32?
It is a movement of 19 steps on May 25th, 2020 at 4:26:19 a.m.
So roughly 4:30 after that movement at 4 o'clock in the morning?
That's correct.
And then row 33, what are we looking at there?
It is a movement of 12 steps from May 25th, 2020 at 12:38:21 p.m.
So roughly 12:30 in the afternoon on May 25th.
That is correct.
Fair to say, Detective, then it goes on to have lots of movement later on in the day on May 25th.
That is correct.
Did you also examine search terms and web
It's like
history
normal.
that were recovered from the defendant's iPhone?
Yeah.
I did.
And does showing you states at 95? Are you able to see that document, sir?
Yes, I can.
And generally speaking, what is it?
It's the search terms that were recorded on Matheau Moore's iPhone.
And what's the date of the first entry?
January 26th, 2020.
And the date of the last entry?
May 26th, 2020.
And the states of
When the
95
step
would
info
be
was
to
made
accurate
relevant,
of
it was
search
fodder
terms?
filler. They had to present something to fill the time. It was all meaningless. Yeah, I mean, their whole the whole prosecution has been
Let's start
just
with
completely meaningless.
roll number
Like,
92.
Yeah, just all
I
filler.
still,
Search term was there?
there's not been a relevant piece of information,
The search term was
in my
Eric
opinion,
Gordon Peterson, Las
so
Vegas.
far.
And what
Yeah,
time?
I agree. In my
It
opinion.
was May 20th, 2020 at 2:15:01 p.m.
And the next entry there, row 93.
It is from May 22nd, 2020 at 1:59:09 p.m. and the search term is Edward Gallagher trial.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as states of 96. Generally speaking,
Okay, so I looked up a
Are
trial.
you able to see that document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And generally speaking, what is it?
You looked up what?
It's
He looked
the
up a
recorded
trial.
web history for Matheau
Oh,
Moore's
okay.
iPhone.
And is it a true and accurate copy of the
And
information that was recovered from the defendant's iPhone?
Yes, it is.
You have to sign us to publish the exhibit 96.
No objection.
Detective. I'm going to draw your attention first of all to row 642. Can you tell us what we're looking at there?
It is the website that comes up as part of the Eric Gordon Peterson Las Vegas Google search.
And line 643 appear to be accessed just after that search.
Yes, it does.
And can you tell the jury what the Eric Gordon Peterson Las Vegas page was there that was clicked on?
On line 643?
Yes, sir.
It is the page from a website called docketalarm.com.
And are you actually able to click right into that same website by clicking on the report that's been generated?
That is correct.
And so clicking that brings up this webpage, this Docket Alarm webpage?
That is correct.
And
so we're showing web
can you
pages
tell us
now?
what the Eric Gordon Peterson case appears to be about?
It looks like Mr. Peterson was charged with murder.
This is why I say burn my
The other,
hard drive.
Search term that we talked about was the Edward Gallagher trial.
And that's incredible because, like I just said,
Yeah.
burn my hard drive because there's going to be something that can
Take your
incriminate
attention
me
to
in some
row
way.
6,
I mean, I do
6,
this, so I'm looking up all
Does
kinds
that
of
appear
weird
to
shit.
reflect the
But-
web history that was associated with that search term?
It does.
And what was the date and time of that?
May
Cirques?
22nd, 2020 at
Xerox?
1:59:09 p.m.
Were there articles accessed after that time with regard to Edward Gallagher?
That is correct.
And were you able to review those articles?
Yes, sir.
And generally speaking, can you tell us who Edward Gallagher is?
Edward Gallagher was a gentleman that was charged out of the murder of 4 individuals.
And
Detective, just for the record, Trinity Exhibit 97.
oh, this
Were
makes
you
me
able
so
to
mad. I can't.
create a sub-report of the timeline entries for Mr. Moore's iPhone?
That is correct.
And showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 97. Does that appear to be a true and accurate copy of the timeline report for Mr. Moore's phone?
Yes, it does.
And then showing you Exhibit 98. Were you also able to access the device events from Mr. Moore's phone?
Yes, I was.
And did you create, does this appear to be a true and accurate sub-report of the information that was found regarding the device events on Mr. Moore's phone from May 24th to May 25th?
Yes, it is.
Similar to as we talked about Emily's phone, did you take this timeline information and this event information and put it together into your spreadsheet that's been marked as Exhibit 91?
Yes, I did.
That's interesting, Bobby.
I'd like to published Exhibit 91 to the jury. I'm going to try the digital version of it, see if the color shows up any better on here than the document can. There we go. All right, Detective. I want to start with the top of Exhibit 91. At what time did you start entering in this information?
I started on May 24th of 2020.
And are these times already converted to Eastern time?
That is correct.
So this time I will show activities recorded from the two devices already converted to Eastern time. Don't subtract 4 hours.
Correct.
All right. I want to talk about generally what's the first entry that you have there from Mr. Moore's phone?
The first entry is that Mr. Moore's phone is the display turning on off.
And do we see that reflected a few other times over the next few rows?
Yes, sir.
Give a preview. Are you also able to, in this, did you place into this timeline information about apps that were accessed and used?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to show you what's the margin states of at 99.
Yeah, at least in closing or something. Just. Hey, what's up, Isabel?
Hey, Isabel.
Take on my hand what's the margin states of at 99. Take a moment to review that document.
Okay.
Detective, this appeared to be a true and accurate copy of a portion of messages between Emily Noble and someone stated in her phone as Celeste the Best.
That is correct.
Date and time of these messages are right before you begin your spreadsheet, but I asked this time to publish these at 99 to the jury. Detective, there's a message there that was sent on May 24th, 2020 at 6:26 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yes, sir. 6:26:07 p.m.
And does that indicate if that message was read?
It does.
And what time was that message read?
At 6:26:27 p.m.
On the top of page, the second page of the exhibit, does there appear to be a message in response?
That is correct.
And I want to turn your attention to the last two entries. Is there a message that was sent May 24th at 6:27:14 p.m.?
That is correct.
And what time did it indicate that was read?
That was read at 6:27:15 p.m.
And then was there a message sent at 6:33:46 p.m.?
So he
What
was.
the date and time at which that message was read?
His wife.
It was not read until May 25th of 2020 at 4.
Actually, you want to explain it because you have a better way of explaining it than me.
Yeah, so
Yes, I'm copying out.
so his wife went missing and they couldn't find her for I think about 6 months, and they assumed he did it, but they found her
Can you talk about the first entry on this exhibit from Emily Noble's phone?
essentially hanging
And can you tell
from a
us
tree,
what time that was?
and so
That was
they
at
automatically assumed he
6:52
did
and 0
it
seconds.
basically.
And you indicate under the heading event type, what is that?
It was a message received on Facebook Messenger.
And then under the column labeled value, what was that?
It was a message received from Heather Z.
And so
Where
far
underneath
there's
that,
been
the
no
next entry
evidence
details
of
page?
anything.
That's for the entries at the same time of 6:52 and 0 seconds p.m.
And what was the event type that was listed there?
It's the trigger for the display on-off.
Indicating that the display turned on?
That's correct.
Did you hear the testimony of Detective Howell this morning?
Yes, I did.
About trying to look around the time to figure out whether that was a user-initiated activity or just usage of the device?
It's just the usage of the device itself.
And so what the records reflected that at the time that this message was received, the screen lit up on the phone.
That's correct.
After this time, more entries from
I
the
guess he
defendant's
was
phone.
charged with
correct.
murder, and I think
I specifically want to draw your attention
tampering. I'm not quite sure on the tampering,
to the
but
entry at 7:37 p.m., which is line 25.
charged with murder.
7:37 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And can you tell us what that entry was?
That was a outgoing call that was placed to somebody named Brian.
And that was an outgoing call placed on the defendant's phone?
It was placed. It was an outgoing call from Mr. Moore's phone. Yes.
And approximately what was the duration of that phone call?
33 minutes and some change.
You were able to review Detective or
But again,
Sergeant
nothing
Hollis's spy
relevant
cam?
That's correct.
Or
You had a knock and talk interview
remotely
with the defendant?
That's correct.
You had a
damning
formal interview
from
with
the
defendant
state.
at the police station?
Yes, sir.
At any point in the defendant's recitation of facts, did he ever mention that he had a 30-minute phone call in the early evening hours after they returned home from Uptown?
No, not one time.
Continue down underneath that.
You-
There are more entries here in red from Emily's
She went
phone?
missing.
That's correct.
Why would
And
that?
can you tell us what we're looking at there?
At 8:07 and 28 seconds p.m., there was a text received from Jen.
This case infuriates me.
And the next couple of entries?
And the entry just beneath it was the display on-off where her phone had received a message and the phone screen lights up to show the display went on. The one after that was approximately 21 seconds later. It was a second text received from Jen. And then there are 2 activations of the display screen going on for receiving those messages.
Tech, I'm going to approach and hand you what's marked as Stacy 100. Take a moment to look that up.
No, no problem, Isabel. And yes, I agree, Bobby.
Okay.
Tech, do you recognize that exhibit?
I do.
Does it appear to be a true and accurate copy of 2 pages of communication between someone saving the phone as Crazy Jen and Emily?
That is correct.
I asked to publish Exhibit 100 this time.
Objection?
No,
All right, Tech, I want to turn your attention to this message at the bottom of first page, Exhibit 100.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us what we're looking at there?
It's a message that was sent from Crazy Jen.
And what does it indicate the time that the message was sent?
It was sent May 25th, back it up, I apologize, that's 4 hours. May 24th of 2020 at 8:07:28 p.m.
And to flip back over real quick to Exhibit 91, you said 8:07:28 p.m. Is that first text that's labeled on your timeline?
Yes, absolutely, Bobby. I agree with that too. Irritating because
Detective, does that
even me telling
message
you how
indicate
to
any
protect
date and
yourselves
time
would
which
be
was
used to say that I'm
Yes,
up
it
to
does.
no good.
And what
Yes,
was it?
absolutely.
It was not read until May 25th, 2020 at 4:42:11 p.m.
So, message received 8:07 p.m. on the 24th, not read until 4:42 p.m. on the 25th.
That's correct.
And Detective, similarly, the top message on the second page, Exhibit 100, does that indicate a similar time of when it was sent and ultimately read?
Yes, sir, it does.
Detective, going back to Exhibit 91. Between the hours of 8:09 and 9:11, are all those entries from the defendant's phone?
That is correct.
And can you give the jury an idea of the types of things that were going on the phone at that time?
The display was activated. There was a opening up the text messaging app on the phone. The phone was unlocked at one point.
Ozzy, what?
Facebook was activated. The orientation landscape was changed, and the phone was also unlocked.
Like, seriously?
Next entry from Emily Noble's phone.
It's from 9:11:12 p.m. It's a Facebook Messenger message received from Heather Z.
And then additional messages received on Emily Noble's phone.
A text message was received at 9:44:02 p.m. from Jen.
No, I didn't.
as
I'll
well
have to
as a
check
text
it out.
message received at 9:44:10 p.m. also from Jen.
Going back to the second page of Exhibit 100. Are those 2 messages you just talked about at 9:44 p.m. reflected on Exhibit 100?
That is correct.
And do they both indicate times in which they were read?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Do they both indicate times in which those messages were read?
Yes, they do.
And what was that?
They were not read until May 25th, 2020 at 4:42:11 p.m.
Look as
Following
good
those
as
2
tattooed
messages that were
eyebrows.
received,
Oh, that's funny, Isabel.
what's the next activity on either one of these phones?
The next activity is on Matt Moore's iPhone, and that is at 1:11:24 a.m.
And you've noted something over there in the margin. Can you tell us what that is that you noted?
It's a gap in time from line 55 to the start of line 56. It's a gap of 3 hours 25 minutes.
And so for 3 hours and 25 minutes, there's no activity on either one of these 2 iPhones.
That is correct.
Starting at 1:11, what kind of activities are we seeing now on the defendant's phone?
The display on-off is activated several times. The device is unlocked. There's also accessing Facebook, some more of the display being on-off, and the device being plugged in, as well as orientation changes.
Scrolling down to continue.
No 5 o'clock shadow. You
More
can even
accessing
shave it.
Facebook,
Totally.
Instagram,
What's the point then, right?
Facebook Messenger, and at 2:22:42 a.m., a text message is sent out from Matt Moore's phone.
And who was that message sent to?
To Arturo Rugaroli.
And who else?
As well as a text message sent at 2:22:53 to Paul Pulver.
And do you recall the content of that message?
Off the top of my head, no.
If we were to look at the timeline of Mr. Moore's phone, would that refresh your recollection as to the content of those text messages?
It would.
Detective, are you able to see in front of you Exhibit 97?
Yes, sir.
And after looking at that,
Well, if they can do hair plugs, why not?
what the content was?
Beard
It's a
transplants?
YouTube video titled "Dana White: The Media Tried to Shut Down the UFC."
And that was sent from Matt
Oh
Moore
no,
at
he likes Dana
2:22
White.
in the morning.
Oh no.
That's correct.
Detective, after that, was there
Bring out
further
your tinfoil
communication
hat.
back and forth between the defendant and Arturo?
Yes, there was.
And you've got something written in the margin on a message at 2:23. Can you tell us what that is?
That is a Facebook message from Matt Moore's iPhone sent to Arturo Rugaroli.
And do you recall the content of that message?
He makes mention that he had taken a sleeping pill and he's probably going to be asleep soon.
And he sent that at 2:23 in the morning?
That is correct.
See, and these prosecutors are all such asses. Like, oh my god, he took a sleeping pill, so he's the worst person in the
Back and
world.
forth between the defendant and Arturo.
Okay.
Continue on towards 3 o'clock in the morning?
It does.
Now I'm going to look at the entries from 3 o'clock in the morning. Can you tell us what kind of things are reflected there on the defendant's phone?
There's accessing Facebook Messenger, Facebook itself, orientation landscape changes of the device, Facebook messages received from a Sean Talon, and some more of the orientation landscape changes, as well as accessing text messages and then sending out a text message at 3:33 and 3:34 a.m.
Let's talk about those two entries here for a minute. First of all, line 133 and 134, what do those entries indicate?
That he's just accessing the text messaging part of the device itself.
So that shows when the messaging app was activated?
That's correct.
And then lines 135 and 136?
Those are text messages sent from Matt Moore's iPhone to Joe.
Continuing on after 3:30 in the morning, what does the device reflect?
Some more activity on Facebook. There's a device plugin, palmugrade.com. Another Facebook message sent out to Sean Talon. And at 4:35, launching Google Chrome.
That message, the last one there, to someone named Sean, 4:14 in the morning?
That is correct.
Generally speaking, how would you characterize the activity of the phone between 1:10 a.m. until 4:10 a.m.?
Objection is not how you would characterize it. It speaks for itself.
Rephrase the question as a state.
Did the device indicate constant usage between 1:10 a.m. and 4:10 a.m.?
Objection needed.
Rephrase your question.
What did the device indicate between the hours of 1:10 and 4:10?
Essentially constant usage of the device.
Okay.
Detective, I want to continue after 4:10 in the morning. Can you tell us what is recovered on the phone during the next hour and a half?
Facebook is launched again. Google Chrome is also launched again. Orientation landscape changes a couple times. Facebook is launched as well as the YouTube app.
And at what time was the YouTube app launched?
5:52:18 a.m.
And again, for what does the orientation change indicate?
When a device can go from landscape to portrait or vice versa.
So the device has to be turned in order to show that.
That's correct.
What did the cell phone information show between 4:10 and 5:52 in the morning?
A lot of user-initiated activities such as opening Messenger, Google Chrome, and Facebook and YouTube.
As well as those orientation changes?
Yes, sir.
Detective, we now finally get to some activity in red on Emily's phone. Can you tell us what it is we're looking at there?
At 6 a.m., it's the
No,
alarm
Bobby, I
on,
agree.
Emily Noble's phone, as well as the display being activated for the alarm. There's also at 8:41:24, there's a message received from Amy Thomas on
I
Facebook
just,
Messenger.
I don't
and the
understand
display screen
people.
lights up again.
And do you recall specifically what message that was received from Amy Thomas?
It was
Mendoza,
a
that would be a
response
bad
to a
thing.
picture that was posted on social media, and it said, to the extent, love this, love you guys, love the country.
The one that we've seen a photograph that picture in the exhibit before was talked about by Ms. Thomas.
That's correct.
Again, does the display on-off on Emily's phone occur at the same time down to the second when the message was received on Facebook?
That is correct.
Detective, continuing from 8:40, does the only activity again belong to the defendant?
That is correct.
And can you tell us what is reflected during this time?
There's accessing Facebook Messenger, the orientation change of the device itself. The device was plugged in. The YouTube app and Facebook were launched. There was a text message received from Joe, as well as a text message sent out to Joe.
Can a phone plug itself in?
No, sir.
And
What the fuck question was that?
Was there activity?
Yeah, mine plugs itself in all the
message sent
time.
from the phone?
Yes, there was.
What the?
Detective, continuing on at the 9 o'clock hour, can you tell us generally what's reflected on the defendant's phone at that time?
More accessing Safari, a text message received from Joe.
Holy shit.
The orientation landscape on the phone was changed. The display on-off was activated. The device itself was unlocked. Some more accessing Facebook, Safari, accessing the text messaging.
With all the
display on-off.
butt hairs
Device was plugged
y'all
in
are
again.
talking about at chat, it reminds me of the
Facebook
Jackass
access,
skit where they
accessing the YouTube app,
used other hairs to
orientation
put on a
landscape,
guy's face.
and a Facebook Messenger message received from Paul Pohl.
Yeah, that was a good one. I can't. I can't
yeah.
even. Like,
Based on your review of this information, what appeared to be going on with the defendant's phone during the 9 o'clock hour?
Essentially constant usage on Matt Moore's iPhone.
God, if anybody ever looked at my phone, I'd be so fucked.
I know.
Detective, we then have a red entry again at 10:13 in the morning. So that's on Emily Nobles'
Oh,
phone.
she's
That's
on
right.
the Amazon
And
app
what it is we're
again.
looking at there?
It's a
And
missed call
again.
and the notification
And
of that
again.
call.
And again. And again.
Detective, after 11 o'clock in the morning, can you tell us generally the types of things we're looking at there?
We're accessing Facebook Messenger, orientation changes, accessing our text messaging, the display on-off activation. The device itself is unlocked at 11:32.
But if the phone was on a wireless charger on a timer, it would show the same data.
Unlocked again, a New York Times app, orientation landscape.
But I don't
display
think
on-off being
these
activated,
phones were
the device being unlocked at 11:50:14.
able to do
Facebook,
that.
Amazon, orientation landscape, display on-off. The device was unlocked at 11:53:59 a.m. and accessing Amazon and text messaging again.
Detective, we then come to an entry in line 268 at 11:54 a.m. And that's in green. Can you tell us why that's in green?
That is that's a text message from Matt Moore's iPhone sent to Emily Noble's iPhone.
Bobby says there's no such thing as a stupid question. You back there with the stupid question.
Take a moment to look that over.
Okay.
Do you recognize that document, sir?
I do.
Does it appear to be a true and accurate copy of the details of that particular message that was sent at 11:54 a.m.?
Yes, it is.
That's a published exhibit 101 to the jury.
No objection.
Detective, showing the first page of exhibit 101. Can you tell us initially what the timestamp is for when the message was sent?
The timestamp was May 25th, 2020 at 3:54:25. Oh, I just forgot the 4. At May 25th, 2020 at 11:54:25.
And when does it indicate that message was read?
It was read on May 25th, 2020 at 4:42:01 p.m.
Right, page 2 of the State's Exhibit 101. Can you tell us sort of heading body, what was the content of that message?
It's the text message that says, "Are we going to this party or what?"
Detective, based on your review of the cell phone material, is it possible that Mr. Moore was sleeping up until the time that he sent that message?
No, sir.
I think you can talk about what the actual records show. He's talking about phone usage, so the person
Just have
can
to repeat what the records reflect that would draw a conclusion. What did the record say?
Do the records show usage of the phone up until the time that that's sent?
Yes, they do.
User-initiated usage of it.
That is correct.
Jesus.
Detective, we go down to line 278.
This is ridiculous.
We can have an entry in green. Can you tell us what we're looking at there?
That is where Matt Moore's iPhone is utilizing the app Find My iPhone.
And why is it in green rather than blue or red?
Essentially, it's in green because it's being shared on, it's being able to be read on both devices at that point. When you look at the timeline of events, it's the Find My iPhone is active at that point for both devices.
Continue on after that. Through the noon hour. Generally speaking, can you tell us what we see there?
The device was plugged in, logged in Facebook, device was unlocked, orientation landscape changes, accessing Facebook, Instagram, the camera on the device, Facebook, Instagram, photo image, a text message from Dad, as well as 3 texts sent to Dad.
And is that conversation continuing to the 1 o'clock hour?
Yes, it does.
Going down to the next entry, it was noted on Emily Noble's phone. Can you tell us when that was?
At 1:43:42 p.m.
And what did that indicate?
It was a text message received from Jared L. and following with the display being lit up at that point.
Any other activity on Emily Noble's phone?
Isabel.
No, sir.
Continue down to 2:58 p.m. We have another entry that's in green. Can you tell us what it is we're looking at there?
That is a text message sent from Matt Moore's iPhone to Emily Noble's phone.
I'm going to hand you one more thing to 102. Take a moment to look at that.
Say corner something, but nah, it wasn't that.
And there's a screenshot copy of the details of the message that we were just talking about on line 369 of your timeline.
That's correct.
Now this time it has to publish Exhibit 102 to the jury.
The objection.
Detective, can you tell me what date and time was that message was received?
At May 25th, 2020 at 2:58 and 30 seconds p.m.
And at what date and time was it read?
Read at May 25th, 2020 at 4:42:01 p.m.
Turn to page 2 of the document. Under body, can you tell us what the content of that message was?
The content is from the text message. It says, "I guess we aren't going?" Question mark.
Detective, continuing on with your spreadsheet.
Facebook, slideshow, the display on off was activated, the device was unlocked, Facebook Messenger, Facebook, YouTube app, the camera, the speaker, and Facebook again, all from Matt Moore's iPhone.
And then we get to 441 with some entries from Emily Noble's phone.
That's correct.
And can you tell us what we see there?
The display on off was activated, the Emily's phone was unlocked at 4:42:01, and the text messaging app was activated as well.
Detective, by way of example, Exhibit 102. What was the time that message was read?
May 25th, 2020 at 4:42:01 p.m.
Exhibit 101, what was the time that message was read?
May 25th, 2020, 4:42:01 p.m.
States Exhibit 100, what was the time that message was read?
May 25th, 2020, 4:42:11 p.m.
States Exhibit 99, what was the time that message was read?
May 25th, 2020, 4:42:17 p.m.
So all these messages that we talked about over the last few States Exhibits were all read at that time when the device you just indicated, the messaging app, was activated at 4:42 in the afternoon.
That is correct.
Detective, after that time, was there continued usage on the defendant's phone?
There was. The device was unlocked, Facebook was accessed, orientation change, the device was plugged in, as well as a outgoing call was placed to Brian at 5:04:59 p.m., as well as the accessing a Signal app.
Detective, I want to talk about the next entries that are on Emily Noble's phone. Tell us what those are.
The display was activated, the phone was unlocked, the text messaging was accessed at 5:08:16 p.m., Facebook Messenger was accessed, and a Facebook Messenger message was sent to Jared L. at 5:17:12 p.m.
Detective, I'm handing what's more States Exhibit 103. Take a moment to look that over.
This shows nothing.
Okay.
You recognize that document, sir?
I do.
It's
And
just
does it appear to be a
an
true accurate
entire
copy?
waste of everybody's time.
Message
Yeah.
detail from
They
the
have
message
literally
Facebook message
nothing.
that we're talking about from 517 view.
That is correct.
And this time that's published Exhibit 103 to the jury. Detective, what does that indicate as the time on that message?
The timestamp is May 25th, 2020 at 5:17:12 p.m.
Who does it indicate the Facebook message is from?
It's from Emily Noble's Facebook Messenger account.
Turn to page 2 of the exhibit under body, does that indicate the message content?
Yes, it does.
And what was that, sir?
It says, "Hello, Jared. My name is Matt. I'm Emily's husband. We had plans to come over to your house today. I can't find her. Is she there? Question mark.
So, Detective, on your spreadsheet is indicated in red because it's an activity that was on Emily Noble's phone,
That is correct.
but the activity was initiated by Emily's husband.
So he's looking
correct.
for his wife?
Apparently.
Detective, prior to 5:13
To a reasonable
in
doubt.
the afternoon on May 25th, had Emily's device ever
Well,
accessed?
that changes
Facebook
it for me right there.
No, it had not.
He was looking for his wife. What the?
So the first time that Facebook Messenger was accessed on the 25th on Emily's phone, it was the defendant who did it.
Objection is to read it. I think the document speaks for itself.
I think you get that covered. Next question.
Detective,
Yeah, you
continue
can't
noting
tell
activity on your
who
phone?
it was.
On my phone?
On the two phones.
Yes, sir.
On
There
my
is-
phone?
Find My iPhone was accessed at 5:21:46. The device was unlocked. Find My iPhone again at 5:23:14.
Is this guy for real?
The Facebook app and text messaging
Yeah.
were all accessed from Mr. Moore's iPhone.
Were there additional communications back and forth that took place on Emily's phone as well?
Yes, there was a text message received from Jen. There was a Facebook Messenger from Jared L. The device was unlocked. The text messaging was accessed as well as the Facebook Messenger.
Oh,
Another
geez, that's
message,
right. He,
was
the
sent
state
out
did
to
say
Jared
he
L,
wasn't looking.
And another one received from Jared L.
Yeah, but this is proof he was.
Detective, then I want to turn
Yeah.
attention to.
So
the
they're
entry
contradicting
in row
themselves
475.
completely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell us what we're looking at there?
That's a outgoing call placed from Emily Noble's phone to Celeste.
Detective, I'm going to hand you what's marked as Exhibit 104. Can you tell us what we're looking at there?
This is the timestamp and the call log data for that phone call itself.
And that is a true and accurate copy of the data related to a phone call placed from Emily Noble's device to Celeste on May 25th?
That is correct.
That's the published Exhibit 104 to the jury.
No objection.
Detective, I'm showing you Exhibit 104. Can you tell us what it is we're looking at here?
We're looking at the call log data from May 25th, 2020 at 5:47:57 p.m. The call was a 5-minute, 54-second phone call that was outgoing from Emily Noble's phone to Celeste's device.
Detective, following that phone call from Emily Noble's device, was there other activity on the defendant's phone?
Yes, Safari was accessed, orientation, landscape was changed, the device was unlocked, Safari was accessed, and a outgoing call was placed at 5:54:43 p.m. to the Westerville Police Department.
Do you recognize that number?
Yes, sir.
And what is that number, sir?
That is the 614-882-7444 is one of the phone numbers for the Westerville Police.
So he looked for him, he called the police, and so on and so forth, but
6:16 p.m. on.
it was all his fault from the
It
beginning.
concludes because that's where I stopped it at that point. Yes, sir.
That's not the end of the data on the phones, but where you stop compiling it into your spreadsheet.
It's essentially a snapshot of the activity of the device from when they were getting ready to leave the last restaurant until about the time that he had called the Westerville Police Department.
I'm going to approach what's marked as 105. Take a minute to look that over.
Okay.
Do you recognize that document, sir?
I do.
Generally speaking, what is it?
It's the call log data from Matt Moore calling Amy Thomas.
Was it on Matt's device or Emily's device?
That was on Emily's device.
Is it a true and accurate copy of the data related to that phone call?
Yes, it was.
This time that's published Exhibit 105.
No objection.
Let's start down here on the bottom. Exhibit 105, can you tell us who it indicates the party was of the call?
It's to a contact named Sister Amy.
And up the top of CZ 105, can you tell us the date and time of that phone call?
It's from May 25th, 2020, 7:54:55 p.m.
And what was the duration of that phone call?
9 minutes and 8 seconds.
Jesus.
I have one moment, Your Honor.
So he's concerned. He was looking for her. He called the police.
I want to talk about some
But it's
relevant
his
cell phones
fault.
here for a minute.
That's what the state
Where
says.
did Emily Noble's remains go after they were recovered?
Delaware County has a contract with the Montgomery County Coroner's Office, so her remains were taken there for an autopsy.
And where did they go from Montgomery County?
They were later transferred to Ohio State for further examination by anthropologists.
And was there a period of time that passed while waiting for that report to be done?
Yes, there was.
Did you continue with other investigation while that was ongoing?
Yes, I did.
Was there any investigation conducted with regard to the branch that the court had been tied around?
Yes, there was.
And can you tell the jury about that, please?
So unsure of what it was, I contacted the Ohio State's Forestry Division to get what sort of tree we were looking at, based on the pictures and stuff that I explained earlier. They responded back that it looked like it was not actually a tree, but a giant shrub, is how they described it, that could grow to the size of a small tree, essentially. It's called a mure honeysuckle. I'd never heard of them, not a tree guy. And so I'd asked if there was any sort of data on the wood strength for a shrub like this.
And eventually, did you have someone come out to test the strength of the branch?
Yes, I did.
And who was that, sir?
It was Dr. John Bolte and Dr. Kang from Ohio State.
And did they come out and run tests on the tree branch?
Yes, they did.
He's obviously a douche because it's the Ohio State University.
Yes, it was.
Ohio State.
Did you also, during the investigation, receive a report from
Capital
what's colloquially known
THE?
as the body farm?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell us about that, sir?
That the body decomposition was what they had studied previously, with the body out in the elements in a upright hanging position.
With regard to the test of the branch, was that designed to mimic exactly the way Emily's remains were found?
Not exactly, no.
If you recall, how did it differ from Emily?
It differed because they had taken the legs from it was essentially like a crash test dummy, is the best way to describe what they had used. And they had taken the legs off and put it up into the lap of the dummy itself.
Was there a cord that was used for the test?
There was.
And how was that cord fastened around the dummy's neck?
Honestly, I can't recall.
You can't recall. Okay.
Detective, one last thing about cell phones. We talked.
But weren't you there for
towards
the
end of your
test?
Spreadsheet about something called Signal App.
Yes, sir.
Wouldn't that be important?
Tell the jury what
Yeah.
Signal App is.
A Signal app is a way for two users to communicate, similar to like text messaging, but it's more encrypted, so it can't be read from a third party. It's a lot more secure than a general text message would be considered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there a question about whether content from the Signal app would have been recovered during the forensic extractions done of the phone?
That is correct.
And just so we're clear, we're talking about the defendant's iPhone.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
As a result of those concerns, was an additional search warrant obtained in order to manually search the phone?
Yes, there was.
How was that manual search of the phone conducted?
It was conducted with detective, I believe he's a lieutenant at this point. I call him sergeant, I apologize.
Not
Detective
quite,
Sergeant
Dean.
Alloway and myself, and I essentially was standing over him and recording the screen as he manually entered the Signal app on Mr. Moore's iPhone, and we examined it that way.
Wait, what? So you
He said
screen
science.
recorded the...
Oh, yeah. That's
Hey, what's up, other Matt?
Hey, Matt. Other Matt.
Actually, why other
self
Matt's
guy?
here? Yeah. Why don't we, because Matt's a good guy. So, other Matt, before you leave, and for the rest of the chat, Shenny, don't listen. Just spoke to this Matt, and we are going to be interviewing him live next week, 8:30 a.m. or p.m. normal time for the show. So instead of watching the trial next week, we're going to be interviewing Mr. Moore himself right here on this channel. So,
yep.
Should be a good time. I will ban D's from the beginning so we don't get any ridiculousness. But other than that, you know, we should be good. So, so we just finalized all that. So I wanted to, definitely wanted to announce it to everybody. So,
yeah, don't listen, Shinny.
Don't listen, Jenny. So we'll keep going and finish up, push to the end. But
yep.
I'm going to show you what's the March States at 106. Are you able to see that, Detective?
No, sir.
Yeah, all right, let's go on the wrong input. That was a test again, you still passed. Are you able to see that now, sir?
Yes, sir, I am.
And
this is like the cell phone being thrown around in the
video that was
office
taken of the manual search of the cell phone.
That is correct.
in the Murdaugh trial.
Were we able to locate the Signal app?
Yes, we did.
And inside the Signal app, how many conversations were located?
There was just one conversation.
And were you able to determine any kind of user info for that communication?
Yes, I was.
Because that's
And,
real science.
Who was that communication with?
It was communication with somebody through the app named Ridge, R-I-D-G.
And were you able to obtain any other information about this Ridge?
We were able to obtain a phone number.
it's a good thing that wood under pressure never cracks or weakens when under pressure. So the second time you test it, it has the same exact strength as the first time you put it under load. Exactly.
Detective, in reviewing the conversation, were you able to determine what were messages?
Geez, I wasn't kidding about banning you.
in Signal app and what were messages
Just for that day.
in Signal app?
Yes, we were.
Approach with what's the
He'll probably make me do it. So
Well,
he has
that's true.
plausible deniability.
Detective, I'll hand you what's the March States at 107. Take a moment, take a look at that.
Okay.
Do you recognize that document, sir?
I do.
Generally speaking, can you tell us what it is?
It is a screenshot from the video itself of part of the conversation between Arturo Regaroli and Mathew Moore.
And the blue bubbles on the right-hand side indicate messages that were sent.
I guess I didn't catch who Arturo
Defense device?
Yes, they did.
was.
I didn't
Yeah, that's
hear.
published days at 107, Jay.
Like, I know he wrote him a check.
Yeah,
and there's
but
been
we-
various
Hard to
messages.
see here.
But
Can you tell us
Okay,
what
well, I guess we'll get to
date
see
and
him
time
now.
we're looking at?
May 7th, 2020, at about 1:21 a.m.
And can you tell us what that message from the defense was?
So the message from Mathew Moore says, "My marriage is over. We don't fuck anymore. I'm an old dirty bastard who needs to ramble."
Oh. Okay.
For the question this time, thank you.
I mean, it's somebody venting to a friend, I assume.
Yeah.
And two, how the hell do you get the authenticity of that? We took a picture
Yeah.
of a Signal app that we don't
Yeah.
have any information where that text came from, went to. We just took a picture of the phone. So we don't even know if it was.
Bobby says even Matthew was like, "Woo, lol."
I mean, just imagine if anybody ever got a hold of anything I've ever said in fucking Discord. Like, holy
Oh.
shit.
Oh no. Yeah, I would definitely be questioning the authenticity of that.
I don't know how you can introduce that. So
Yeah.
it was no worse than the text between Deb and Paul Bettany. At least they had those texts, though. It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't a picture of an alleged phone that has no chain of custody or anything.
Right.
You could have screenshot the phone and then you would have had information based on the screenshot.
The
But to
metadata.
use a different picture or a different phone to just screen record a phone, that's some bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, you meant what was being said. No, I still don't think there's any relevance to what was being said. I mean, yeah, it's venting to a friend. I mean,
But again, was it him? It's an encrypted app, or
right. I mean, do we have to bring up some of the things that you said, Ozzy? I don't think I have it loaded up, or I would play it. I would play it, and you know it. Oh, I know how I could do it. Hang on. I know how I could do it. This is something that Ozzy said in public.
Oh no.
Oh, come on, YouTube. Stop being a bitch. This is something Ozzy said in public. And then I put to a creative background.
I put some lube on and got him on his knees, and I began to slide into him from behind.
That really
I
happened.
put some lube on and got him on.
I got the second one in, Oz.
This examination, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be longer than we have today. It's going to end a little bit before 5.
no.
She understands that during the course of her cross-examination, that we'll pick it up later.
He doesn't know that existed.
Until now. Oh, Shenny, you're not supposed to be listening.
Jenny, damn it. Go away. Oh, no, you can listen to this. Just
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just listen
don't
here.
listen 1 minute ago.
Yeah. Or next week.
Do you think he really pays attention to the content I put up?
You just don't keep track. Don't you worry about it.
Thank you. You know how I can be now. Thank you. So, I'm going to start with the cell phone, and it won't surprise you to know that I'm going to bounce around a bunch. But you, in the extraction, the text messages between, or the messages between Emily and Matt, did you ever print those out and have an actual hard copy?
No.
Would it surprise, there was a volume of text messages, were there not?
Absolutely, there were.
And would it surprise you to know that the volume of text messages within the date and time of your search range was this much paper?
I believe that, yes.
And
wow.
Of this much paper,
Hold on a
of
sec.
messages between Matt and
So
Emily
they
Moore,
just ended
the
on
exhibits
that
you were asked about,
random.
Yeah.
81A, 81B,
Mhm.
81C,
What?
Because they also thought it wasn't going to get in.
those text messages and those 3 exhibits that talked about
That's
arguments with Matt
bullshit.
and Emily consist of that much paper. Is that fair to say? Those are the exhibits you were asked about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I want to go through.
Oh, come on.
Have you, let's go through. And if you wouldn't mind.
I
some of
agree
these, so many
at this
exhibits.
point.
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 81, State's Exhibit 81A. Just so the jury is clear, 81A is from November 21st,
And to be
of
honest, I'm always
2019.
prejudiced against the
Is that right?
state.
That is correct.
And
Yeah.
detective, let me know if at
They
any
have to
point in
prove.
time you need me to approach. I'm happy to show you.
They
things
have
if
to
it's more
prove it.
clear. And I just want to go to the second page.
No,
of
they were
that,
just trying to drop
when
that
you were
last
giving
text in
color and
because they didn't
context
think
to
it was going to
what
make it in
Matt
either.
and,
So they had nothing,
the phone of Matt
nothing
and Emily
behind
are
it.
saying, right here in the green bubble, that's the bubble
Yeah.
that's associated with the phone for EM. Is that right?
That is correct.
Those 2 words right there say,
I'm so
not
pissed.
me. Do they not?
I don't remember that.
That's correct.
And that makes me so mad.
Correct.
Unintelligible means I can't understand you, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
And then I want to go on to this last message, which you were asked about. I'm going to get it together soon. I just need to let the sadness thing run its course. It won't be much longer. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you were questioning Matt Moore in that interview room on May 27th, and you were asking him a whole lot of questions about his marriage. You would agree with me that you kept using a time frame of 6 months. Do you remember that?
Yes, ma'am.
Like last 6 months, right?
That's correct.
And I remember in the interview that, of course, the jurors watched, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you were using that 6 months time frame, and Matt told you that things after Joey had killed himself had been tough, for lack of a better word.
That's correct.
They had both, they being he and Emily, were both dealing with that situation. in
Dude,
different
this is
ways.
fucking
Do you remember telling
bullshit.
me that?
That's correct.
That's as much as I got.
Me, we know that Emily went missing in May, right?
No, but seriously, that was fucking
So-
bullshit.
It was.
April,
Why?
March, February, January,
I have no
December,
words.
November. How many months is November
Again,
prior to May?
I can't use my mad voice because I have no words.
Exact date or just a ballpark?
Just a ballpark.
6 months.
6 months, right? And right here he says it won't be much longer. Do you see that?
This is a good attorney,
Voice to
Oz.
face. I don't. Yeah.
She's been a good attorney.
Great
Going
attorney.
to 82B.
Not legal
Just wanna
advice,
make
but
sure
if I
you
were
were
to
asked
go
about it again. The blue
commit a
bubbles
crime, it
are,
would be in Ohio.
The blue bubbles are from the phone identified as Matt Moore.
Because we don't
First
give
5
legal,
words.
financial,
December
starfish,
31st, 2019.
Minecraft.
So New Year's Eve.
Minecraft,
I don't
any of
want
that
to
advice.
Love interest. None of
Yep.
those advices.
None.
And you've reviewed,
None.
I know, this stack of messages through the course of your investigation. You would agree, would you not, that the message of "I don't want to argue, please be positive" is a constant message from Matt Moore to Emily Miller.
Okay.
It's a regular message, is it not? Please be positive. Stay positive. I need you to be positive.
I agree with that.
As evidenced by second page of Exhibit 81B. Try and be positive. That's a blue bubble, is it not?
Yes, it is.
I also want to just go up because you were asked
I
about
think
this
her
earlier.
outfit is fetching.
The green bubble is associated with the EM phone, right? And this is New Year's Eve.
God, did you
see how
hang
she
out with
said there,
Dazzer
the green
today?
bubble says you use
Fetching.
the wrong word. It's singular. Do you see that, detective?
I do.
I'm trying to make
one
fetch
word
happen.
Is enough for the user of
Gross.
the green bubble to be this upset.
Objection, Your Honor. That's speculation.
He can answer that question.
It's one word that causes this.
Oh, please tell me that was for Mean Girls.
Yes.
Want to go to 81C?
Or at least
you
that
agree
was
with me that
No
this
comment.
text exchange
the
is from
phrase.
February of 2000.
I know you don't watch movies.
Yes, I agree.
So we have the text exchange with respects to disagreements with Matt. We have 81A, which is in November of 2019, right?
Yes.
81B, which is in New Year's Eve of 1920.
Did you take her phone and go?
1920? 2019?
I have a shirt
Okay, no, sorry.
that says my dog
it's
makes
been a long day.
fetch happen.
Me too.
or
So
something like
I
that.
had to pause.
Of course
I
you
mean,
do.
December 13th.
I do.
Year 2019.
I have a Cheweenie Mom shirt too, but
yes.
we won't go into
That's
that one.
81B. Now I want to talk about 81C. Is now we're in February of 2020.
Yes.
February to March, March to April, April to May. This is more than 3 months before Emily goes missing, is it not?
That is correct.
And these text messages that
Oh,
we asked
Dazzer's salty.
about what Matt Moore, blue bubble and green bubble.
That's a
and
term y'all
Emily,
use,
right? He's
isn't it,
talking
Dazzler?
about the medication I got today isn't working. I'm extremely anxious. Can I have one of your Valium? Where are you?
No,
Do you
he's
see
coming
that
at
in
me.
81C?
No, can you pull down? Just
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Nope, otherwise.
Oops. In the drawer on the right of my sink on my way home. You see that?
I still can't see the message above that you were referencing. Yes, there you go. Okay, yes, I see that.
And then let me scroll up where he ends it with a thank you. Do you see that?
I do.
What happened in or around March 11th of 2002 with respect to COVID? Do you remember that, Detective?
March 11th of 2020?
No, it's supposed to fit like that.
Essentially, the
Bobby?
world seemed to shut down.
The Governor DeWine issued a emergency stay-at-home order, did he not?
Correct.
I mentioned that because I was listening to your testimony and it hit me when on direct examination the prosecutor was asking you about the frequency of the word love in text messages between Emily and Matt. You are aware, of course, that Emily had a full-time job. She worked for the government or the state.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to focus on August 2019 to May of 2020.
That's an interesting dynamic.
Joey kills himself.
It is.
Emily takes leave from work, does she not?
That is correct.
For about 3 or 4 months.
Yes.
She then returns to work.
Yes, she does.
The governor's stay-at-home order in mid-March forces her to have to go home and work remotely. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes, I would.
So when you talk about how the number of comments for love appeared to be less in March and April, I mean, you would agree with me.
'cause she was at
She
home.
home at that time, right?
Yeah.
I'd agree that she's working from home, yes.
So maybe we don't need to text as much if I'm actually at home with you,
Okay.
Ooh.
right? Because we know that wasn't working.
That's correct.
And so Emily's working remotely from home as of the governor's stay-at-home order, correct?
Yes.
Mid-March goes into April, right? It goes into May.
Yes.
I want to go back through. Well, let's talk
I've
about
been
this.
fetching you lazy POs.
We can call that the Matt and Emily argument emails. Text. Can we call them that just so that I can refer to them? Because these are it, right?
Okay.
You would agree with me that at no point in these, maybe it's 10 or
She's
12
very
pages,
exaggerated
right,
on the
count.
fast.
Does it say I hate you.
Speed.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
That's correct.
I want you dead.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay?
What is it?
Hearsay?
From whom?
It's cross-examination, Your Honor, as to what these text messages do or don't say.
You're referring to what's on
That's
the
correct.
document.
That's correct.
I just want to make sure I'm clear from your earlier order that.
From the defendant.
These are from the defendant.
As long as we're clarifying that, so we make sure we're talking about the stuff that's supposed to be substantive.
Okay, let me be very clear. Messages from Matt Moore's phone do not include the following words. Let's go through this. I hate you, correct?
That's correct.
I want you dead, correct?
Correct.
That is never in there. I am going to kill you, correct?
Correct.
I am going to divorce you, not in there, correct?
No.
In fact, the one message you did read was where he said, if you want to divorce me, let me know. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
None of those
I just love her
statements are in
enthusiasm.
the meat of these Emily and Matt argument texts.
That's correct.
Let's go through.
Yeah, look at that pile of fucking papers, and there's 12 pages, you said?
Yeah.
Of,
Yeah.
of angry text? Holy
I mean,
shit.
like that's like a ream of paper.
One moment, sorry.
And yeah.
Look through my Discord private messages. You would see 600 pages of angry messages and 3 messages that weren't angry. I would be fucked in Ohio.
You would.
77 and 80s. That's what I have.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and I'm going to ask you some questions about those, and I'll put them on the screen. These are the same electronic versions that you were shown during direct.
Yes, ma'am.
So these records from JP Morgan are for 2 different bank accounts. Is that correct?
That's correct.
One of them, and I'll start with Exhibit 77 because that was the earlier account. Do you recognize that as the face sheet?
Yes.
And this account, right here, it has the account numbers. Let me zoom in so the jurors can see it. Do you recognize this, Detective?
Yes, I recognize.
Okay. So I just want to go to, if I can, this is Emily Noble's own bank account. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes.
Nope, no one else, his name is on this bank account, right?
That is correct.
And the amount, it's hard to see here, but would you agree that the total assets is $97,000?
It's hard to see, but that looks accurate, yes.
If I may approach, Your Honor, because I want to be sure I'm accurate.
Sorry about that.
It's-
Yes.
If you could read the exact amount.
$97,499.82.
Thank you. You were asked about the 2, let me go to Exhibit 80 now. Exhibit 80 is an account that had both Emily and Matt's name on it. Does that sound right?
I don't remember the specific exhibit number, but yes, I remember an account with both their names on it.
One moment. Trying to get to the page. Showing you Exhibit 80. Just so
How
you
much
can see
money
the
was in that bank
title,
account?
I need
the
about
names
3
are listed there.
Mathew Moore and Emily Noble.
And
$3.50.
it indicates that it's a checking account, does it not?
Yes, it does.
So, and the, I'm going to get to the balance of this account, if we could. Just give me one moment. If I may approach, Your Honor, it's hard to see.
It seems like we weed anybody out that has even remotely a conscience.
Yeah.
Because this guy's still smug.
Okay.
And
You
what's that
should
account?
drop it right
The
now.
ending
It
balance
should be
is
over.
$90,920.11.
Thank you. So the one account with just Emily's name is roughly 97,000,
Yes.
and the one account with both of their names is roughly 90,000.
Yes.
The 2 checks that you were shown for the $5,000, do you remember that during direct examination?
Yes, I do.
Paul Pulver is Matt Moore's stepbrother, is that correct?
I thought it was half brother, but
You know what, you're right, it's his half-brother. He lives in Florida, does that sound about right?
yes.
And the other check for $5,000 to Arturo is a friend of Matt's?
Yes.
And at no point in
That's
this
so friend.
case, you interviewed Arturo, did you not?
I did not. We actually sent the local FBI office out to interview him.
Because Arturo actually lives in Vegas, where Matt used to live?
Yes.
And Paul lives in Florida. Someone under your direction interviewed Paul as well, did they not?
It was through a phone call. I interviewed him.
Why through a phone
What?
call? That's
What?
no.
What the fuck? In a murder case?
Close the loop, if I can, on the issue of money. You wrote a summary, an investigative summary of your work in this case, did you not?
Yes, I did.
And tell me if you ever need to refer to it. I have an extra copy, but you are aware, certainly, and included it in your investigative summary, that Matt Moore's mother died prior to Joey dying in 2019. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And when, through the course of your investigation, you learned, did you not, that Matt Moore inherited between $300,000 and $400,000 from his mother when she passed in 2019?
That sounds accurate, yes.
And you also knew that, and you became aware through the course of your investigation, that Emily Noble had a life insurance plan through her work. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you further learned through the course of your investigation that Matt Moore never submitted an insurance claim against that policy. Is that correct?
That's right.
I wanted to talk
No,
about
they have nothing.
Nothing.
some, and I warned everyone I was going to jump around. There's some pictures
around.
that I didn't
Jump around.
show Officer Leckie yesterday.
No?
But you are,
Okay.
of course, familiar with
Jump-
the photos
jump
from
up and
the
get
scene at
down.
46 Abbey Cross that were
That's
taken
Wisconsin, not
during the search warrant.
Ohio.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to talk about I'm sure that I'm wrong. Showing what the witness has been marked as Defendant's Exhibit L. Detective, do you remember that photograph being taken by law enforcement on the day of the search? If we could display. Oh, that's my job. Oh, my goodness. It's up. You know what? Takes a village. Thank you so much. Shoot. Do you remember this photograph that's now been marked as Defendant's Exhibit L being taken during the search?
Honestly, I don't.
Okay.
What?
Do you want me to approach so you can see it more closely?
No, I can see it clearly. I just can't recall it in the stack of photos being taken.
Okay.
What?
And if you can, you just don't remember this photo being taken. I want to zoom out so that we can look at the photo and then I can orient you to it after I grab another photo. But you see that there appears to be a card, does there not? Like an envelope with what it looks like to say E and M?
Yes.
And if I may approach, Your Honor, with Defendant's Exhibit L, I don't want you to take my word for it, but I just want to be sure that that card is not or was not taken by law enforcement as an item of evidence. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you know
Excuse
that May
me?
24th was Emily's birthday, correct?
Yes.
And so should that have been a birthday card, we don't know the contents or the messaging that was taking place between perhaps Matt and Emily the day of her birthday. Is that fair?
Why not?
Yes.
I'm going to talk about two other pictures that weren't shown yesterday that I just want to
These,
do.
I get you. Mine too.
Defendant's Exhibit M and N.
Look, wants to look me in the eye and
Showing
say,
you what's been
I'm in
marked
need
as
about
Defense
3
Exhibit
bitty.
M. Do you recognize that photograph?
That's good,
That
AP.
is one of the bathrooms at 46 Abbey Cross, yes.
And it appears to be, would you agree with me, that there is a green hamper right here?
That's accurate.
And if you see in here, there appears to be some items.
Yes.
This was in the secondary bedroom, or the secondary bathroom, is that right?
That's correct.
And we know that because of the orientation right here of room D.
Correct.
Fair to say that in advance of the search warrant being executed, Matt Moore was not given notice that you were going to descend on that house and execute a search warrant.
That's accurate.
Right? You didn't let him know you were coming.
Correct.
So in the guest bedroom, we have this hamper. Now showing the witness what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit N. At some point during the search warrant, the basket was emptied by the officers, was it not? And the clothes were dumped on the floor.
At this point, I wasn't on scene, but I'm assuming that since no one else was in the house, since officers cleared, that yes, it was emptied out by an officer.
You weren't on scene?
And does this
How could you
picture,
testify to
look
any of this?
like it jog your mind of one of the pictures that was taken by the officers during the search?
Yes.
And again, just to orient, I know that we have this picture where the clothes are in the basket, and then this picture where the clothes are next to the basket, and the lid appears to be open here. Would you agree with me, Detective?
Yes.
And you answered the question that I was going to ask because you're smart like that. The house was cleared, right? So the only individuals that could move things in the house
Smart
were the
like that.
officers.
Correct.
Nice
Want to,
dick.
and it's not real clear here, but Does this look like a fair and accurate copy of one of the photographs that was taken by the Westerville Police Department?
Yes.
And the same, I ask you, of Defendant's Exhibit M?
Yes.
It's hard to see here, but this is a plaid shirt here, is it not?
Yes, it is.
And this appears to be a black piece of clothing? Or something black.
Something black, yes.
And then right back here, do you see that? Is another plaid piece of clothing. Do you see that?
Yes.
And if I may, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
what
Light
this is.
Rain, I get you.
I'm showing you now what's been marked as State's Exhibit 83. Do you see that plaid?
Yes.
And it's hard to see. And let me, Your Honor, may I approach? I want to bring up Defendant's Exhibit N and 63. Do you see that in the back there? The State's exhibit that I've shown you, as you testified to on direct, is from Cobley Restaurant, taken on May 24th. Is that right?
Yes.
And we know that shirt was a short sleeve shirt, do we not?
Yes.
That shirt, is that in evidence at the Westerville Police Department?
Honestly, I can't recall. If I could see the list of inventory that was taken from the search warrant, it would refresh my memory.
Well, and because I don't have the evidence on hand, let me ask you this. Fair to say that there is nothing of evidentiary value from any of the clothing items that were taken from the hamper. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And remember when we were watching we watched it, and you certainly have reviewed it, the Officer Hollis video cam footage when he goes to the house initially?
Yes, ma'am.
And Matt Moore goes into the closet and he holds up that black skirt and says, "This is what she was wearing last night." Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then actually on the day of the search warrant,
Hey,
on May
MLS.
27th, that black skirt is in the same exact location in the closet, is it not? And, I'm sorry?
Do you have a photograph of that?
Yes,
It's
I'm
a
getting
good
it.
one.
And that black skirt is in physical evidence, isn't it?
Yes.
And I came to the office, to the police department, what was it now, a week or so ago?
Probably about 2 weeks. Yes.
2 weeks
Yes.
now. And you and Lieutenant Alloway and I, we opened up a significant number of brown bags which had physical evidence in those bags, right?
Yes.
And one of the items that was bagged and properly preserved was that black skirt that Emily was seen wearing on her birthday.
Since I was in and out, essentially getting the items out for you and Detective Lieutenant Alloway, I can't speak as to what was in all the bags.
You are aware, though, are you not, that it was seized as evidence, a black miniskirt?
Yes.
I'll show you what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit O, because it's easier than for me to find. Does this look familiar?
Yes.
And this photograph was taken on the 27th of May?
Yes, it was.
And thinking now to compare this photograph versus the body cam from Officer Hollis on the 25th, do you remember when Matt Moore walks into the closet on May 25th, right to this area, and holds up a black item and says this is her miniskirt?
Yes, I do.
And this photo, we know, is from May 27th, so 2 days later. And there appears, does it not, to be a black item in that same or similar location?
Yes.
And fair to say that when you're executing a search warrant, your purpose there is truly, as the search warrant application says, to find items of evidentiary value.
Yes.
That's why you're there. You're looking for any possible evidence of trace evidence, right? So blood spatter, hairs, fibers, anything that might indicate to you that there was some sort of crime committed there, right?
That's correct.
You would certainly take anything that you saw that you thought it might not be of evidentiary value, but if it could be, best practices, you'd take it, would you not?
That's correct.
Showing you now what's marked as, I'm being challenged on my alphabet. P. Defendant's Exhibit P. Detective, I know you haven't been shown this photo before, but I ask you if you recognize it.
Yes, I do.
And where was this photo obtained from during the course of the investigation?
This is a photo from Matt Moore's iPhone.
Which was, based on the data, this was taken on May 24th of 2020, was it not?
That's correct.
And this area where it's taken, I know
This
we've
whole
heard some
police
testimony from
department's
Amy Thomas,
incompetent
but
on
this
top
is
of
called
everything
the field
else.
of photos, correct?
That is correct.
I
Just
want
massively
to
incompetent.
draw your attention.
Yeah.
Do you see those shoes that Emily Noble is wearing in that picture?
I do.
And so we know that this is the day of her birthday, the day before she goes missing, do we not?
That's correct.
Do you see it looks as if there's some kind of shoes, and then there's like a black, right there, almost like a sock that's peeking out. Do you see that?
Yes.
Showing you what's been previously marked as Defendant's Exhibit H. Do you see those?
I do.
This photograph was taken on May 27th of 2020 when the search warrant was executed, is it not?
That's correct.
And these shoes seem to indicate that it looks like there's some socks in them.
Yes.
And we know that they're in the garage because of the marker.
Yes.
I'm just going to show, once I clear. Let me approach, if I can, Your Honor, with Defendant's Exhibit H and Defendant's Exhibit P.
Ooh, I like her nail color.
Detective, would you agree that the shoes or the booties that Emily Noble is wearing on May 24th of 2020
Sorry, I'm a
appear to
girl.
be the same as similar as those that are just sitting in the garage at 46
A
Abbey
lady.
Cross on 5/27/2020?
Yes, they are same or similar.
I've never seen proof, just for the record.
Yeah, Dee, she's been digging at him. She called him
Exhibits 7
smart.
and 8 were shown to you. Remember this photo, Detective?
Yes, ma'am.
Where you were shown that when Matt Moore's walking in here, this cooler is in this position right here.
Yes.
Right? Do you see how there's actually a cord hanging down from here? Do you see that? And I'm happy to approach.
I can see it.
Yes. So we've got the orange
He's
electrical cord on
emasculating
top
the
of the
shit
cooler,
out of
and then we've got
the
cord
strong,
hanging down,
powerful man.
right?
Yep.
Only a woman
And then
could
you
do the
know from
testimony
watching,
or do the examination like this. For real, like.
That he leaves the house
Yeah.
and leaves Matt Moore alone in the house, correct?
That's correct.
The first time when he's over talking to John Kramer, and then the second time where he's out talking to officers, and the second time is about a half an hour or so. Does that sound right?
Sounds accurate.
And at no point in time did Sergeant Hollis ever say, "Don't touch anything in the house," did he?
No, we did not.
Nor did he say, "Come outside with me because I don't want anything disturbed inside," right?
That's correct.
So then Officer Hollis comes back in, and Matt says, "Wait a second. This seems odd, right? Because there's this cord isn't usually here. The cord is hanging here." Do you remember when he told Officer Hollis that?
I do.
You would agree with me that yes, the cooler has been moved. It's almost as if he went over there when Officer Hollis was gone and noticed it was out of place, and so the cooler's moved, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
Well, okay, so they were asked these questions about the cooler's moved, and there's a flashlight there. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay, you would agree with me that the electrical cord is still in the exact same or similar position in both photos. It's hanging down, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so if the electrical cord or the cooler were of evidentiary value, I am sure that the officers would have seized any or all of those things. Wouldn't you?
Yes.
And
I think so.
nothing
Yeah,
from
I'd
here
hope
was
so.
seized, correct?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Not that I'm aware of.
So are you
Interesting.
incompetent or incompetent?
The second one. Is it better one
I
or
want to talk about a
two?
few more things in the garage, if we could.
Shout out to the
You
optometrist.
looked, did you not, at receipts of things that Matt Moore had purchased in the days leading up to May 25th, 24th of May, did you not?
Yes.
And in particular, you found a couple of transactions at Home Depot and, Home Depot, do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
From March 15th of 2020, there was a order total of $26.19. Do you remember that?
I do.
And you indicated that
I
in
went
your
to Home
report on
Depot.
page 63. I assume you remember through your
Guilty.
investigation that the receipt was determined to be for a Nature's Care soil. Do you remember that?
I don't, but I'm not proceeding. It's
Nope.
in progress.
Happy to, if Your Honor, may I approach? Just,
So he was trying to
if it would refresh
plant
your memory.
flowers?
Just snipped it from your
All right,
report.
thank you.
Apparently.
Okay.
Showing you what's previously been marked as defendant's Q. And I only show you this just about this issue of things being moved or not moved. Does this picture look familiar to you? I know it was not shown during the direct examination of Lighty, but have you seen this picture before?
Yes.
And does this appear to be a true and accurate copy of this corner of the garage, 46 Abbey Cross?
Yes.
And this is capturing that area as of May 27th of 2020. Do you
Yes,
agree with me?
that's correct.
And you see this right here. The bag that's purchased a couple months prior is just sitting right here in the garage. Do you see that, Detective?
Yes.
And in fact, you can read right here. It says Nature's, does it not? Nature's Care, and it's potting mix.
Yes.
And that purchase was made in March, and it was still in the garage.
So he's
correct?
He's any man ever. Wife pitches at you to go do something, you go to Home Depot, buy something, and then leave it sit for 6 months until you get bitched at again. Like that's common.
Asked him the question about whether he and Emily went home after the bars and whether he continued to drink. Do you remember you asking Mr. Moore that?
Yes.
And he said, sometimes I sip vodka, but I don't have any at the house right now. Do you remember him telling you that?
Yes, I do.
Fair to say, surely, that when the officers searched the house, right, again, Matt Moore not knowing that you were coming, there was no open bottles of vodka, right?
Not that I was aware of.
There was no, and of course the
Oh shit, I'm gonna have to ask him if he's the same one that put all those ballots in that cooler that went into Detroit.
not on the
I mean, camera equipment, because that was packed very tightly.
Speaking of that, it wasn't mentioned, but I want to mention it. In addition to one of the investigative things that you did in this case,
I meant camera
you also
equipment.
did a trash pull.
Is this guilty by association?
That is accurate.
Trash pull is another really great investigative process, or it could be sometimes, right?
Yes.
Because someone could dispose of sheets or towels, or there might be other things of evidence that, while aren't in the house, are perhaps in the trash that are intended to be disposed of, right?
Correct.
You did a trash pull at Abercross, did you not?
Yes, we did.
Tell the jurors where you pulled the trash from.
In front of the residence the morning of the 27th.
Right? In one of the trash bins?
Trash can, yeah.
Trash can. So, and I asked that because it wasn't from like a trash can that's under the sink or anything. You actually went into like the trash bin that was outside the house, right?
Yes.
And you looked through it with the mindset of what in here might be of any possible evidentiary value, correct?
I can't stop seeing Zelensky.
That's correct.
Oh, I know. This cop looks exactly like a chunky Zelensky.
Every time I see him.
Just gonna go through, I'm cognizant of my time, so let's go to Joey. Just generally the topic. Joey was found hanging from a tree branch in July of 2009. That took place.
Yes.
The park where he was found, what is that called?
Hang on, I'll do a comparison. There we go.
And fair
There's
to
one
say that
and two. One
you became aware of Joey's suicide.
Yes.
and two.
No.
But fair to say, as part of your
Tell me
investigation
that's
in
not
this case,
accurate.
which I'm sure you
That's
would say is
accurate.
Yes.
you went back and looked at the case file with respect to Joey.
Correct.
And you looked at the photographs because those were still within the custody and control of Westerville?
Detective Wright did.
Detective Wright did.
Yes.
Under your direction, but as part of your investigation.
Correct.
And there were still photographs of that, of Joey as he was found hanging.
Yes.
And if you recall from your review and investigation of all the work done in this
Chunks
case, a runner was on a path and actually had,
You know what I'm
had
talking
discovered
about.
him in the morning hours.
That's correct.
I would say that in relation to Emily's missing and the investigation that followed between May 25th, 2020, and Matt Moore's arrest
He's
in June
the
of 2021,
he's the lead detective,
that
wasn't
you
he?
as the lead detective on this case went back
Or
and
was
really
he
looked
just
closely
one of the
at
detectives?
She just
circumstances
said something about detective as you were
We looked
talking.
closely.
You looked at,
I
you looked
know.
at the case again,
Yes,
didn't you?
yes.
Right?
Damn
You
it.
went back and you looked at it.
So he was
And
a
Joey's death was
detective,
determined to
and
be a suicide at the
he
time
hasn't
when
been wrong
he
about
was
everything. They haven't
and
presented a
that's
single piece
still
of
the
evidence
evidence
in
today.
anyone's opinion so
And I
far.
want to talk about,
So,
and I assume you know this
it's
through
been-
your experience in training. There's two different
been
types
odd.
of hangings, are there
Yeah,
not?
lead
There's what we call
detective.
an
Okay, I was
incomplete
right.
hanging and
Yeah.
a complete hanging.
That's correct.
Yeah, I couldn't hear what.
Incomplete's a little deceptive, I think, but I'll start with complete. Complete, is it not, and please tell me if I'm wrong, is when someone hangs themselves, let's say from a tree, and they are suspended in free form. That is, they are not touching the ground.
That's correct.
And then there's something called an incomplete hanging, which doesn't really sound as if what it is, right?
That's fair.
An incomplete hanging is when someone, for instance, could hang themselves, let's say, on a doorknob, right?
Yes.
They could actually be sitting on the ground and hang themselves on a doorknob.
Epstein
right?
didn't kill himself that
And
way.
So incomplete is when you're on the ground but able to hang yourself, and complete is when you're hanging and not touching the ground.
Correct.
And I just want to be clear about that.
YouTube, I
Joey's
am not
was a
guilty
complete.
by association.
That's correct.
And we know
We're
that
far
when
enough in,
Emily
they're not
was
gonna
found
check this
in the
far.
woods, is
Okay.
that she was in, as you told the jurors, she appeared to be on her knees, but on the ground.
Correct.
I want to show you what I will mark as
Yes, amazing lawyer. Isabel.
She's been incredible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it before.
Oh, I meant in the trial.
Yeah, okay.
But you've seen it before, certainly, right? And I know that you were at the scene on May 27th, I'm sorry, on
Wait, did they blur it
September
out?
16th of 2020.
Yeah, they did this
When
time.
there
They
were
didn't
remains
last time.
That's correct.
Just want to go over, and does this appear to be a fair and accurate
So you'd
depiction of
seen the
how
pictures
remains were when
then?
you arrived at the scene?
It does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just want to, this tennis shoe
There's-
that I
there's
circled,
not
you would
much-
agree with me that it's actually still on
There's-
the leg there.
That's correct.
And in
There's
fact,
not much.
as you later watch
Yeah.
the remains be removed, the shoe was not
Yeah.
separate and apart from the remains. It was still literally on the skeletonized foot.
Correct.
I want to ask you to look at this hand right here. Do you see those fingers?
Yes.
And would you agree with me that this appears to be the thumb, and then these are the fingers right here?
Yes.
And this is the leg?
That's correct.
And this appears to be, does it not, a cloth over the right hand?
Yes.
See that?
Yes.
And we know from the positioning that the leg is bent, right, like this?
Correct.
And she's on the ground like that.
Correct.
She's on the ground like this. Is that correct?
That's-
And the fingers are shown there.
Well, her
Yeah,
left leg
Isabel, I
obviously is not
couldn't
the
get up
seizure,
that
but-
fast.
Yes.
Yeah, she's pretty passionate about what she's doing.
Yeah.
So.
And next to her,
I'd be like, someone
Emily's remains, was found a water
call
bottle.
for help.
That's correct.
And I just wanted to talk to you about
I fallen and I can't get up.
the lab results that were done with respect to the water bottle. There was contents in the water bottle,
Get
correct?
me a team of Canadian
And you
firefighters.
took a sample of that liquid and had it submitted for testing.
That's correct.
Fair to say that when you took the sample to have it submitted for testing, it was noted to be peachy in color. Do you remember that description of it?
Yes, I do.
And in fact, when I
Oh,
came
my
to look at
brain.
the physical evidence, the color of the liquid inside the bottle is still peachy, is it not?
That's correct.
And that was submitted and tested, and it was determined, you would agree, that the liquid that is a peachy color was plus or minus
You didn't see that?
6.3% alcohol.
Correct.
I was
Tell the
trying not
jurors
to
the
laugh
proximity
because I
of the
think
water
it's
bottle from the
tacky,
remains as it
but
was found.
It was
you
right next
brought
to
it
me.
back to my attention, and I couldn't.
On-
couldn't.
Yeah,
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I won't do that again.
Staying at the scene, you are aware of Emily Noble's height, I presume.
Yes.
And tell the jurors how tall she was.
Just over 5 foot tall.
She's just over 5 feet tall. And not that you would, but of course, we're as tall as we are, and then we could potentially raise our arm like this. Matt Moore do you know his exact height?
Not off the top of my head anymore, no.
Would it refresh your recollection if
You
I were
don't
to show you a
know
Western
his
blue
height?
sheet?
Yes.
Thank you. If I may approach, Ron.
Holy hell!
Okay.
And if that refreshes
Do
your
you know
recollection, how tall
anything?
is Matthew Moore?
6 foot even.
He didn't
And
prepare
the
for
tree branch
anything
where Emily
at all.
Noble was found hanging from, that tree branch was measured from the branch to the ground, was it not?
Yes.
And it was 6 foot 3 inches tall, or in distance.
Yes.
So between the branch and the ground is 6 feet 3 inches.
Yes.
So if I'm 6 feet tall and I'm looking at that branch,
What's
the
up,
branch
Freedom
would probably
Fighters?
be, like,
No, this
kind
is
of right in the way. It would just be 3
Mathew
inches over my
Moore,
head.
Correct.
If I'm
Delaware
5 feet
County,
tall, the
Ohio,
branch would be,
accused of his wife's
well,
murder.
a foot over my head.
Correct.
This is his trial. So.
You want to have a break? Sorry. A few minutes late. Sorry.
It
You
would
were
be
gonna
so much easier if StreamYard would integrate.
Fair enough.
Oh, I know.
We'll resume where you left off.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our evening recess, and because you have been so attentive and patient throughout this case, I'm giving you 2 days off. So, have a good weekend. As always, remember the court's admonition, and this is even more important since you're going to be away from us for a while. Again, make sure no one discusses the case with you. Don't allow any form of media attention come into your presence regarding this case. And enjoy yourselves over the weekend. Relax. Get a good night's rest. We'll start again Monday. Same sort of thing. Go to the 3rd floor, and as soon as everybody's here, we'll get started. Any questions from anyone? Okay. Have a good night.
All right, so that is the end of day 3. So we're almost halfway. And I figured as a treat of almost halfway.
Shinny, don't listen.
Shinny, don't listen. We would have Mr. Mathew Moore on for an interview to get kind of his side of what was going on here and kind of fill in some of the gaps for us. And then right after that, we'll finish up on the other side of it. Again, I am more convinced than ever that they have nothing.
Absolutely
they have
nothing.
nothing. There is not a single thing here that you can even remotely say, okay, that was a motive, or that was a reason, or that was a way that they did it. Like there's nothing. So there is absolutely nothing. And a little bit of a teaser. As we get later into the trial, prosecutor gets a little salty.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. We could tease with that. It's just a minute.
I'm good.
I like to tease. I'm a tease. Since y'all stayed and hung out with us, we can tease you a little bit.
Dee says, do not ban me next week.
We'll talk. Maybe if you can get my package delivered without looking like shit. It's a long story. So, yeah, so this is a little tease of what's coming up later.
No, I'm sorry, but I would object to going forward anyway right now without the elected county prosecutor who's on this case.
She chose not to be here.
That's not accurate, Judge.
Okay, okay, your objection's noted.
We had a phone status conference 2 weeks ago in which Ms. Schiff...
Your objection is noted. Okay?
I'm not going to participate in this proceeding without the elected county prosecutor. I think this is a sham that you're going forward. When the court was
You're going to sit here. You're going to sit here.
You were told about her unavailability and specifically told her on the phone not to cancel that appointment, that it wouldn't be...
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to be here for the decision, that's your business.
Well, Your Honor, I think this is outrageous. You're going forward without the prosecutor.
Aww. Oh, little boy.
I prepared my remarks and my decision here today.
Wish.com Wolverine.
Aww. Aww. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But so that's just kind of what we got coming up. So next week we will take a break from the actual trial. We'll interview Matt. I've been talking to him behind the scenes. Seems like a pretty awesome guy. So
Shinny, don't listen.
Excited to do all that. So he did take his ball and go home.
he fetched.
He's probably like, fuck it, I already lost, so I can either make a spectacle or, I mean, good on him for going down swinging, but
yeah.
Yeah, no, don't make the prosecutor come out this way because we don't give a shit because you already lost, idiot. Is my opinion, but yeah. But yeah, he did take his ball and go home.
That's why you may not be able to show up next week.
I'm going to be real heavy on that ban button next week for you, Mr. D's. But yeah, so really excited to interview Matt next Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on this lovely channel with the only Dog Mama.
Yes, I'll
should
be
be fun. Yeah. So, but other than that, what is coming up tomorrow? I have a couple things up in the air. I don't know which way I want to go with them yet. So, you'll find out when I do. So like 8:15 tomorrow, maybe.
All right.
And then, Wednesday, I promised Dazzer if I got to 1,500, I'd take a day off. I have not fulfilled that promise yet. I'm a man of my word. So sometime in the next year, I will take a day off. Sometime. And it might be this Wednesday. We'll see. Thursday we'll do news. Friday, Nucleated Gaming and I will build some Legos and chill. Saturday, we'll see what we got going on for Saturday. And then we'll be right back to it. So, tomorrow we're doing Glass Parking Lot update. Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking. There's a lot going on there. So I think it would be good to bring everybody back in and kind of give everybody an update as to what's going on, because there's a lot of things moving over there. I have another thing on the back burner. We'll see if that goes through. If not, we'll just do an update, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted, keep you informed. But Wednesday we can party in Discord. Well, if you're going to show up without pants, D's, then we can talk. Camera on without pants. None of that halfway bullshit. But yeah, so Dog Mama, it's great to have you back. And
it's good to be back.
hopefully you enjoyed your time off, and yeah, it was fun as always. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me tonight. I'll probably hang out in Discord, as we all know. So I'll catch you guys later. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe, and like I said, we'll probably catch you up tomorrow on the goings on in the Middle East. So have a good night, everybody. See you soon.
Later.